Good morning, everybody, and a very happy new year. We are here. We are live. It is the first market open of 2025. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everyone had a great New Year's break, got to spend some time with their family and their friends. We got a lot to talk about as we officially get into the first market open. The number one thing that we're looking at today is Tesla deliveries. And I believe we're going to get those Tesla delivery numbers in about 13 minutes at 9 a.m. Wall Street expectations is around 507,000 on the high end, around 515, low end around 497. So it looks like we should be getting above that 500,000. So we'll be talking about that. A lot of stuff happened over the weekend. Some stuff was a bit tragic that happened over the weekend in terms of some terrorist attacks. So we'll be discussing that and the implications that has not only on the markets in terms of uncertainties that it's providing, but also on Tesla, because Tesla, I guess with the Cybertruck, was directly and indirectly or was a player in what is happening here in regards to some terrorism that's going on in the United States, along with the fact that New Orleans also had some attacks as well. So we're here on Thursday, starting off the new year. We did have some stuff happen this week that was not the best, but nonetheless, we move forward into 2025 and we get started on a new year. Derek, thank you for being here. I'm not answering this question, but I appreciate you being in the chat, brother. We had a fun New Year's Eve stream for those that were on the New Year's Eve stream. I hope you guys had fun. That was a really fun one. We got to do a little bit of drinking on stream, and we also had you guys come on the stage as well and got your guys' thoughts and opinions on everything going on in the world. So thank you, everybody, for being here. We start off 2025. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Tesla deliveries, again, should be coming out in 12 minutes. We do have a ton of news besides Tesla deliveries, but that's going to be the number one thing we look forward to going into the next 20 minutes. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Tess, Derek, Clyde Frog, Sashi, what's up? What's up? Corey, Doug, Sanjay, Erwin. You guys are funny. You guys are really, really funny. I love you guys. You guys are so funny. And that New Year's Eve stream was very funny. It was good. If you were there, you enjoyed it. If you didn't get to check it out, you can check it out on the channel. But that was a fun one. That was a very fun stream. By the way, guys, because I drank on New Year's Eve, I know I said today we were opening that as a celebration of selling into the new year and drinking. I'm not doing that today, dude. Again, I'm not a drinker. I'm not an alcohol guy. I can't imagine drinking 2 times in 1 week. I just don't do that. So I know I said I would drink on January 2nd. We would pop open that Robinhood bottle. By the way, we got a lot of stuff to talk about Robinhood, so we'll get to that in a second. I can't do it, dude. I got pretty sauced, as you guys said, on New Year's Eve. So I'm good. We'll still enjoy today, but I just can't drink again, dude. I can't do it. So I'm not built for drinking 2 times in 1 week. Nonetheless, let's get into it. All right. So we have some macro stuff that we got to discuss before we get into Tesla deliveries. Again, we're going to get those numbers in about 11 minutes. Might be a little bit later than 11 minutes, but everyone is on the seat of their edge. Let's bring back a little bit of the 2024 magic in terms of the metaphors here when it comes to Tesla. Outside of Tesla, we have 2 things we have to talk about. So number one is jobless claims in the United States of America. Initial jobless claims came in lower than what was expected. So let's start off some of the macro analysis going right to that. We had 211,000 people in the United States file for unemployment this past week, below expectations of 222,000. Now, in general, we do have some green pre-markets. There are pockets of red that we'll talk about. We have some upgrades and downgrades across the board. Unfortunately, Sofi got downgraded to like $8, and that one's having some troubles in the pre-market. We'll talk about that. But unemployment starts off with 211,000 people filing for unemployment, which is below expectations of 222,000. That is very good. The one thing that was not good, but it should not be a surprise in the context of the macro, is the U.S. mortgage rate. Average contract interest rate for the 30-year fixed rate mortgage in the United States of America is now 6.97%. That is up from 6.75% in the previous period. It is ending in the week December 27, 2024. There has been a 22% decline in 2024 for mortgage demand. So we are seeing decline come down. The problem is these rates are not coming down because the 10-year is not coming down. The 10-year is not coming down because the bond market doesn't think inflation's coming down. And will inflation come down? In my opinion, yes. But January 15th, we're going to get the CPI number, and that's going to give us a better understanding of if inflation is actually coming down. Now, 10-year, not doing too bad right now, down from 4.6 to 4.535, but still not as down as the market needs it to be down in order to see some material weakness. Oil prices as well are up. We're up 1% across the board on oil, which is not the best thing to see, but we are seeing some increased volatility to the upside on oil. Again, we are significantly below where we were at the start of 2023 and 2024. So as long as we keep these levels, I think that's good. But we are a little bit higher in terms of these oil prices currently right now. Now, one of the things that's not the best, and again, we've been talking about this for the past couple of weeks. Unfortunately, it is still an issue. This damn dollar keeps going up. This is not good for international equities. It's not good, honestly, for trade and a lot of other things that the United States needs to benefit from. But yeah, there are some things that it's good for as well. But I think Trump probably wants to get this dollar to come down, hopefully closer to 102, 103. Right now at 108, it's just a very, very strong currency. Other countries might start raising rates to weaken the dollar against their own currency. Japan had the chance to do that in December. Thankfully, they didn't do that because there's other implications to the downside if they do that. But we do have a dollar that's strong. We have mortgage rates going up. We have unemployment that came in better than expected. And then you got oil prices that are slightly up today. And that's some of the main macro stuff that we're dealing with right now. Ethan Johnson said home prices went up 10% over the past year in Michigan. Yeah, and I would imagine, not just Michigan, across the entire country. The average home price, I believe, in America is $470,000, and that was $440 3 years ago. So in general, we are definitely seeing some strength in home prices, and the only way for that to come down is for home builders to build, and the only way for that to happen is for rates to materially come down to give them the incentive to continue to build. So that's what we got in the context of the macro. Let's talk about the SoFi downgrade. We got 7 minutes left until the Tesla deliveries. By the way, if the numbers come out and I'm not talking about it, just put it in the chat. I believe at 9 a.m. it'll come out, but sometimes it comes out a minute early or a minute later. So in 7 minutes, we will pull that up. But let's talk about SoFi. Let's talk about SoFi. So let's bring this up right here. Why would Trump want a weaker dollar? It helps with trade relations. Now, it doesn't always help. But there are some points where the dollar, like if the dollar was trading at 80, he would want the dollar to be higher, right? But the dollar at 108 historically is trading at some of the highest levels it's been. So sometimes it can't get that hot. So I don't think he wants it to collapse or anything. I don't think anyone wants it to collapse, but most people are looking for it to come at least 10, 15% lower, just given it's been so elevated for so long. And the only way to get it to go down is to have rate cuts, but rate cuts obviously aren't affecting the dollar, given they're not affecting the 10-year. So it's kind of a wait and see game to see if that comes down. What am I expecting with Tesla? I'm expecting 515. I went out on a limb. I'm going on the high end. It's probably not going to be that high. 505 is more likely where it ends up being. I think 515, just because of the personal anecdotal experience I've seen with people buying Teslas, I could be a little off on that. I don't think it's below 500. And if it comes in below 500, I think the street's going to be upset. 506 is what the street wants it to beat. So if it beats 506, the street's going to be happy. If not, you might see a little bit of weakness. Tesla's up right now in the pre-markets. Where is Tesla? Tesla is up 1.4%. So at least for now, the street thinks that these numbers hopefully should be good. Okay, SoFi. So here's what we got. Keith, Brewitt, and Woods, KBW, downgraded SoFi to an underperform from market perform. They lowered the price target to $7 from $8. Oh, wow. I didn't even know they had an $8 price target. That's it. That's kind of like mean, right? Like SoFi's at 15, doubled over the past 2 months, and they're lowering it from 8 to 7. They don't even believe it should be $8. It's kind of insane. So they said SoFi shares rose by 57% in 2024, including 100% since September, largely driven by investor optimism regarding high-growth fintechs following the election. In addition, the improving macro environment, lower interest rates, and SoFi's success in driving better scale and profitability have taken some teeth out of several bear cases, which we believe justify shifting our investment thesis towards a more long-term view of what a mature SoFi looks like. Okay, so that's good. However, our analysis indicates that the stock's valuation has become overstretched across a wide matrix of multiples, even if SoFi is successful at achieving its ambitious long-term targets. Okay. We continue to hold some concerns related to these bear arguments, resulting in our downgrade to underperform. So it looks like they said, we think certain parts of the business are overvalued on a sum of the parts when you talk about lending, tech platform, etc. And as a result, we are downgrading it. SoFi right here down 2% because we believe that it deserves to not have as ambitious of a multiple, I guess is the argument that it's putting out. I don't know. I don't think this one makes that much sense. So these guys have always been bearish. It looks like they are trying to double down on their bearish in a world in which the market has obviously decided SoFi is worth much more than $7. At least their growth has factored that in as well. I don't think this is the best report. I think this is kind of silly. The general bear case on SoFi, I think at this point, there's only one big bear case, which is that the tech platform doesn't grow and then you value it as a bank, use price to tangible book, which even then, if you do that, you could argue SoFi should be still in this range, even if you're not factoring in like the hybrid multiple of the SaaS element of the business. But they just got a deal in December. They're getting more RFPs. Noto has said they have deals in the pipeline. Maybe it doesn't happen all at once, but the idea that this thing deserves to go back down 50% to $7, I don't think so, dude. I think that's a bit stupid. So I don't think that would necessarily happen there. But nonetheless, that's the implication that they're saying we'll have on the stock. And we're going to see in the next couple of minutes, or next 30 minutes, how this stock opens up. Now, here's the thing about SoFi. Look, I don't really think that report is that good. There's other market participants that might believe that the bear report makes sense, that it does deserve to be downgraded. How the stock reacts today is going to be really important. We're starting off the new year. SoFi's held 15 and 16 basically for the past 2 months very well. If SoFi can hold 15 in the face of a downgrade, like they did on Bank of America's downgrade a couple weeks ago, then that's super bullish. That means people are just like not paying attention to these analyst reports anymore because they're not filled with that much info. If it breaks down below 15, which it hasn't done since 12/20 on the J-Powell presser sell-off, then we're going to see some weakness in the stock. So today, that's one thing to look at when it comes to SoFi. If it gets to 13.12, I'll be buying that dip. But let's see if it actually does take some weakness there. Gene says, billionaire investor Ray Dalio recommends Bitcoin as hard money amid national debt increases per the block. Wow. Dalio's bullish Bitcoin? Holy, has he? Oh, he's not been bullish Bitcoin for a while, right? Bitcoin, by the way, rebounding right here. We'll talk about Bitcoin in a bit. We got 2 minutes till the Tesla numbers. We'll go more deep into Bitcoin in a second, but 96,385. Bitcoin was at 91,000. We unfortunately did not get 100,000 for New Year's Eve. But that's interesting. Dalio recommending Bitcoin as hard money because he's afraid about the national debt. Now, we've known that Ray Dalio has always been annoyed at the national debt. Really, for the past 15 years, he's been talking about it. But in recommending Bitcoin as an alternative to protect your money during a debt crisis that we're having right now is pretty interesting. He's a gold guy. That's what I thought. I thought he's more into commodities versus, I've never researched it that much how deep he cared about Bitcoin, but I always felt it was similar to Buffett's kind of mentality that, Bitcoin is just not really something that's useful or it's valuable. So for him to recommend that, that's definitely a big deal. We'll see if that has any implications on Bitcoin going into today. Derek says Tesla's up. Tesla is up about 2% right now, 1.64%. So we get the numbers in a minute, folks. I think it's just now in a minute. Let me load up the website right here. I don't think it's going to be after 9 a.m. It might be a little bit after, but in about 1 minute, we should get the numbers. And we're going to see what Tesla says. Let me pull up CNBC as well if they have a live stream of these numbers. And we're going to see. Uber was recommended by Goldman Sachs as their top picks. We're going to go through some of the sell side analysts on Wall Street and their top picks for 2025. Uber's in terms of some of these top picks. So it is definitely getting people's attention given the material downfall it's had over the past basically 2 weeks since Tesla showed off FSD to the world. All right, Tesla's moving up. We're moving up on Tesla. Refreshing the screen. I don't have the numbers yet. We should be getting it soon. Not yet. You see Tesla moving though, right? Yeah, Tesla's moving. It is going up. No numbers yet, but it will be happening soon. And then we'll talk about the terrorist attack, unfortunately, that happened with the Cybertruck in Las Vegas, which was just insane to see that happening. Oh, we're down. You saw that red candle? It just went down. It's not red for the day, but we just went down from up 2% to up 0.3. So that was a massive red candle. Let's see if it can hold. Can it hold? It's red. It's red. There you go. It's red, but slightly red. It's red from the pre-market highs, but it's not like red. Still green, even though you're seeing the red candle, it's still green. Now it's down. What are the numbers? What does the street not like? What are the numbers? Oh no. I don't have them yet. If anyone has them, let me know. What did the street not like? Is this below 500? There's no way. I feel like it's 501, 502. Maybe it's not 506 like what the street wanted. Now we're down 496. Is it actually 496? That would not be good. At least not. That's a good number, just not against expectations. Still don't have it yet. I think no one has it in the chat either. Someone said 495, 570. Yeah, 495, 570. Holy crap, they missed. Oh my God, they missed. They missed. Oh boy. Look, 495 is not bad considering last quarter they did 464 or 463. But everyone, including myself, expected 500s. Everyone expected 5. I mean, technically I was right. I said at least above 495, but goodness, I was 570 cars away from being wrong. Because there you go. We're at 495, 570. Yeah, Tesla stock is down. Tesla stock is down. We are below 400, folks. Below 400, folks. I will agree with what Chris says right here. This isn't the best considering the incentives. Guys, for about a month and a half, they said you can basically buy it. I mean, not basically. You can buy a Tesla for 0% down. That is, I mean, like, if it's not going to move on that number on 0% down, then that is a little weird. And now, granted, again, it's good year over year. It's good a quarter over quarter growth. I think it's not year over year growth. They are now negative on the year because they needed at least 500,000 to be year over year positive because Q1 they messed up really bad with 385,000. But yeah, that is a little. That is a little. I mean, it is a little concerning. They gave out a lot of incentives, dude. You didn't even have to buy FSD to get 0% APR. I mean, they kept stacking on the incentives. Tesla China had a great month as well. So that is very weird to see this decline. We are at 387, folks. Goodness gracious. Starting off 2025 with Tesla below 400. Well, for those that wanted to buy a little bit of the dippy dip, yeah, you guys are saying, Amit, you wanted the dip. I did indeed want the dip. So 385. I thought I'd have to buy Tesla at 400 this year. Looks like it might not be the case. It might not be the case. Goodness, dude, it's just falling like a rock. 385. Holy crap. Why is the street that upset at it? Like, is it that, like, I mean, I get why the street's that upset, but still, like, I have the press release. Let me open up the press release. Let me open it up. We also have some energy numbers. Hold on. Let's go through the energy numbers as well. Oh my goodness. All right, here it is. Here's what we got. So, fourth quarter, we produced approximately 459,000 vehicles, delivered over 495,000, and deployed 11 gigawatts of energy. A record for both deliveries and deployments. Okay, so the energy deployment, I forgot what it was last quarter, but I think 11 gigawatts is materially above it. Someone can confirm that for me. Model 3, they delivered 470,000, and the Model Y together, other models, 23,000. Oh, sorry, we're looking at, Q4. Yeah, so Cybertruck was included in the 23,000. Model 3, Model Y, still the best-selling cars, 471,000. It was 6.9 last time. Okay, so they did 11 gigawatts versus 6.9, which is really good, quarter over quarter. And for the year, they delivered 1.78 million vehicles. That is slightly below the 1.8 million vehicles they delivered in 2023. So they are going to show negative year-over-year growth. Palantir's dumping. Why is Palantir? Why? Palantir doesn't always have to follow Tesla, bro. Like, why is Palantir dumping? Is it dumping? Where's Palantir? Palantir's not dumping. Well, it's dumping from where it was in the pre-markets, but it's still green. We're still green on Palantir. We are not, I wouldn't classify this as a dump yet. Up 0.57%. Nvidia's up 1.25. S&P's up 0.5%. Google's up a little bit. MSTX is up 4%. MSTR is up 2%. Nike's up a little bit, but Tesla right here down 3.49% right here on the day. All right, so I guess this is the reason for people selling Tesla right here. Let's see if we can get some coverage on these deliveries and what people are thinking. Again, I personally don't think 495 is horrible, but I'm one person. The broader market doesn't like it right now. Here we go. Here's some coverage on what's going on with Tesla.
Is Tesla, which had a great year as a stock, of course, not for much of the year, but towards the end, as we all know. We did get those numbers on deliveries. Let's get over to Phil LeBeau now. Find out what they were, Phil. I see the stock trending down a bit.
They're trending down because you have the first annual drop in deliveries ever for Tesla. We'll talk about that in a little bit. In the fourth quarter, these deliveries are shy of expectations. For the quarter, the company delivered 495,570 vehicles. The street was expecting deliveries of 504,770, and they needed to deliver at least 515,000 to have full year deliveries top what they were in 2023. Obviously, that is not going to happen. For the year, Tesla deliveries come in at 1.789 million vehicles. Remember, in 23, they were at 1.81 million vehicles. So there's your first year-over-year decline. Not a huge surprise that that was going to happen, guys. The 515, almost everybody said it's going to be tough for them to get to that level. The question now becomes, what do we expect for 2025? Remember, Elon Musk, in some of the conference calls after financial results in 2024, indicated that, look, I think he said he thinks that sales could go up or deliveries could go up by as much as 20 to 30% in 2025 as they roll out lower priced models. They start to make advancements in terms of robotaxi technology. But clearly, these numbers alone in the fourth quarter, shy of expectations, 10,000 shy of what the street was expecting, essentially 495 versus 504. And again, the first year-over-year decline in deliveries for Tesla since the company really started ramping up production back in 2011, 2010, et cetera.
Yeah. Phil, interesting to note as well, BYD reported its numbers. Now, it doesn't sell all EVs. The overall number was 4.3 million
Correct.
EVs and hybrids. I think EVs came in at about 1.76. I just mentioned it because, of course, it is such an important competitor when it comes to this market for Tesla.
Yep. Right. And you put up a great point there that the BYD numbers, the hybrid business is huge for BYD. And that's where they're making a lot of gains in terms of their deliveries and sales outside of China. In terms of the EV business, China is where they are red hot. And China is where Tesla is feeling pressure. There have been some reports that their registrations were up as much as 7.7% in the fourth quarter. In China, which is an improvement, but the market's growing faster than that, David. And that is really going to be what we see a lot of focus on for electric vehicles, especially when it comes to China. How quickly is the market overall growing? And then what's BYD doing? What are other Chinese EV companies doing? And then what's Tesla doing?
Right. Of course, as you know better than anyone, I mean, Musk had said, if you want to own my stock, it's not about how many cars I sell, right? It's about full self-driving, robotaxi, and robotics is what he has been saying.
100%. 100%. It's all autonomous vehicle technology, the robotaxi, the development of that vehicle as they start to roll that out. What does the fleet look like? What is the take rate when they actually start doing that? When do they start doing that, David? They've indicated 2025 is going to be a huge year for that. Let's be clear here. Waymo is already out with autonomous drive vehicles in a number of markets around the country. Not huge numbers, but it's growing. And Tesla's not even out in the market yet. So that's going to be a primary focus in 25.
All right, so a couple implications to this. Let's talk about this. For those that are just joining, thank you for being here. Good morning. Happy New Year. Tesla deliveries come in at 495,000 versus 459,000. The street was expecting 505,000. This comes after multiple incentives that Tesla deployed in Q4, including 0% APR, and a record quarter in China insurance numbers, but still was just not enough to crack through that 500,000 level, which would have shown some positive year-over-year growth. This is the first annual decline in deliveries year-over-year when it comes to Tesla's history in showing vehicle delivery growth. So, implications of this. Why does this matter? Well, it matters because Tesla gets their revenue from cars still, right? So someone in the chat was asking, is deliveries even part of the story? And that's what they were talking about just now. Yeah, because until FSD and robotics and all that stuff starts creating material revenue and momentum for Tesla, I mean, it's creating momentum from a qualitative narrative standpoint. It's not really creating momentum from a material revenue standpoint. And that will happen eventually, right? That will take time. That's part of the growth story. That's why if you're buying Tesla at a $1.3 trillion market cap, you believe that will happen. You kind of have to believe that's going to happen if you believe in Tesla. But the broader problem is that's going to take time to happen. So in the meantime, their market's going to have their movements on the stock price itself if the numbers don't line up to how they're expecting it to be. And if they wanted 505,000, you got 495,000, that's going to create a little bit of a dip. But the question is this dip going to be a real dip or is it going to be short-lived? So I just put in the chat, does Tesla reverse? It's 50-50. 52% of you said no. 48% of you say yes. Tesla's had an incredible run in 2024. So now we're starting our year-to-date clocks from $403.84, which means Tesla will be judged year-to-date in 2025 off $403.84, starting off for the year. And so far we are down 3% at these levels. Again, to me, I don't factor in deliveries as like the biggest thing for Tesla because I just think there's so many more long-term theses to care about. But in the short term, can you use deliveries as a mechanism to figure out how you get an entry point in the stock or get an exit point based on your based on the way you're trading it? Yeah, for sure, because that still is material news that affects the company right now. And currently, we are seeing down 3% here on Tesla. Including what we're seeing on Tesla, we also had some horrible news over the weekend. This video is going to be a little graphic for those that are watching it, so just a warning right there. But a Tesla Cybertruck in Las Vegas, as you can see right here, exploded with what is seemed to be a bunch of fireworks inside of the car. Now, this Elon is assuming was a threat on his life and also was a threat on Trump's life. So Elon has talked about it over the weekend, and he said that, yeah, he believes that someone thought Elon was in the car, or he's thinking that someone's trying to send a message to Elon, given his political affiliations, given that, I mean, this was in front of the Trump hotel, right? So there's a little bit of, I guess, posturing that's whoever blew up this car was trying to imply. Now, the car itself, if you take a look at it, this was the car after it had officially blown up, which is just insane to think that this is how the car looked. But take a look at this. I mean, just the man who was standing in that video that you saw, his life was actually saved. And one of the reasons his life probably was saved was because the Tesla still stayed intact. So this was the Tesla after the explosion, which is just insane that it was able to be held up the way it was held up. But nonetheless, this is another thing that happened over the weekend. And what I think this means for Tesla investors, quite frankly, is that there are uncertainties with how people in the United States, at least, are perceiving Elon Musk as a leader, as a pseudo politician, whatever you may think of him. And it's resulting in violence. And it's very sad to see. Obviously, no one should be wanting violence or wanting anything like this to happen. But it is one thing to factor in as being an investor of this company, but also as being a citizen in the United States, because it goes to show that we are still divided. We are not necessarily unified, even though we are going to get into a new administration. So, yes, I do think Elon's life is in a little bit more danger than not. I mean, given we saw the United Healthcare CEO and what happened to him, I think a lot more CEOs that have extreme levels of wealth, you've got people in America that are starting to act up against that. And Elon in particular, given how politically outspoken he is, that does create a little bit more of a target on his back as well. So that is something that I think Tesla investors are going to have to care about. I hope Elon gets as much security as possible and ramps it up. Elon was with Trump at Mar-a-Lago over the New Year's Eve break. So speaking of Elon and Trump, they were together again over New Year's, spending time with each other. And they were at dinner. They were dancing together. So it seems like the Trump-Elon relationship is intact, and that relationship is not going anywhere. But nonetheless, there are going to be some politically motivated attacks, and at least we're seeing that happen right now in the context of what's going on with Tesla and the Cybertruck in Las Vegas. January 20th, we will get the official inauguration of Donald Trump. So we also have that in the next 2 weeks. I think the market now is going to have to determine what do they think of Donald Trump as becoming president. And as they make up their mind and as they see how Trump acts, that will determine where the market goes over the next few weeks. Moving on from Tesla, again, we're down 3% on deliveries. We'll see how that opens up in about 15 minutes when the market opens. The rest of the market is still green. MicroStrategy up 2.8%. Now, again, this stock collapsed by 47% to end out 2024, and it was still up 6x. So it's kind of incredible, the volatility that was in MicroStrategy, but the last few weeks of December were just not fun for MSTR as it collapsed from 540 back to below 300. That's up 2.69% right now. Hood, I think we should talk about Hood because we do have some news to talk about on Hood. That's up 3.13%. I'll get back to Hood in a second. Schlumberger is up 1.49%. Microsoft's up a little bit. Celsius is up 1.3%. Bitcoin, 96,300. Sofi down 1.76% after getting downgraded. We talked about that. We'll see how they open in 15 minutes. If they can hold 15, I think that's going to be very important for them. The Qs are up about 1%. You got Coinbase up 2.7%. Faraday Future is up 17% to start off the year. GameStop, we do have some updates on that. Roaring Kitty did tweet again, so we will see what he posted. But that's up a little bit. Carnival Cruise is up a little bit. Rivian's up 1.5%. AMD's up 1.17%. And NVIDIA is up 1.23%. Okay, let's talk about Hood. So 38.47 on Robinhood. what did Robinhood do over the New Year's Eve break? So I thought what they did was absolutely incredible, and it was very exciting, and it kept people on their toes, which is, to me, the most important thing of how Robinhood navigated all of this. So over the New Year's Eve break, Robinhood basically said, hey, if you're on the website or if you're on the app, you are going to be eligible to be part of a countdown, and that countdown then allows you to be eligible for a reward that they're giving out. So what was the reward on New Year's Eve? I was live on the New Year's Eve stream if you guys were watching it, so we saw it in real time. It was $2.5 million of Dogecoin that was split among 450,000 people that showed up to pick up the reward, which means everyone got about $6 in Dogecoin. Then yesterday, they had another surprise giveaway. This was only for gold subscribers. $2.5 million of Bitcoin they gave away. So 5 million in total, 2.5 in Doge, 2.5 in Bitcoin. And they gave it to gold subscribers who were on the countdown screen. My mom, my dad, and myself were all at the same time on the countdown screen. And that resulted in about $8 of Bitcoin. So about 300,000 people showed up to claim that Bitcoin. Now, why is this really good for Robinhood, and what can investors kind of take away from this? The way I saw this news was more bullish. And of course, sometimes people have different perspectives on it. And so I saw some other perspectives on X over the weekend or over the week and how people were talking about it. And essentially the narrative was, oh, $6, boo-hoo. Like, that's a total buzzkill. Like, why did they get it so hyped for $6? And unfortunately, these people are the same people that not only missed out on Robinhood, but they will continue to miss out on Robinhood because, and it's, you know, I don't really laugh at a lot of bear cases, but this is a bear case that's laughable. The fact that someone has the audacity to say, oh, Robinhood only gave away $6 is laughable for a variety of reasons. Number one, a company giving out free money is free money, regardless of, like, if you don't like how much money they're giving out. The fact that they're incurring a marketing expense to give back to their users as a sign of appreciation of just thank you for being a loyal customer on the platform already is something that most companies in the world don't do. Number two, this was a phenomenal showing of marketing, customer acquisition, and user engagement in an attention economy that we can all see is hyper competitive. The difference between you retaining a user on your platform and that user going to the trillions of different apps that they could be using at the same time, whether it's in finance, technology, consumer entertainment, whatever it is how well you can keep them engaged. And the only way to keep users engaged is to gamify the process, to potentially give away some money, to get people to be excited, to have phenomenal engineering on the screen to the point where people like enjoy playing with the app itself. If you played with the countdown screen, it was all these dynamic movements. And so I think the people that are complaining about $6 or saying that $6 of Doge is a boring reward and not worth the hype have fundamentally missed the point. They've missed a point. They need to go sharpen their pencil because that pencil does not have a point, because their argument also does not have a point. They have fundamentally missed the argument that Robinhood made over the weekend, which is that essentially we can keep hundreds of thousands of people on our platform on a day when no one should be on their brokerage. A, because the market's closed. B, because it's freaking New Year's Eve. You should be out having fun with your family, friends, getting drunk. And 450,000 people stayed on the app. So, you know, the quick story here for Robinhood, the reason it's up 3% right here, I think it's up a little bit because of Bitcoin, but also because I think investors are like, holy crap, these guys not only were able to engage 500,000 people on one of the busiest days of the year, but they actually were able to give back money to those people in a way that was exciting. It's not Robinhood's fault that 500,000 people showed up. If 2 people showed up, they would each get $1 million, right? Because there was only 2 people to split the pot, but 2 people didn't show up. 450,000 people showed up, which is why you had less than $1 million and you had $5 instead. Now, final thing I'll say on this, and then we'll get into some other macro stuff, is Robinhood gave away $5 million. And from the election contracts, I believe they made $5 million. They sold about 500 million contracts, made about a penny a contract, so they made about $5 million. I think they made so much money in Q4, and we saw the December numbers last week as well, or a couple days ago, that they basically said, hey, we don't need this $5 million that we got from elections contracts, which was like a 1-week project for them to launch. Why don't we just give it back to people as a marketing expense? Because we're not going to miss on our numbers if we give away $5 million. And to Doug's point right here, you had to have a crypto account to claim the awards, which means now when Dogecoin and Bitcoin goes up, you're going to get a notification, which is awesome, right? So now they got people to get a notification on the app, which is, again, another form of marketing and customer acquisition, because now you have a Bitcoin and Dogecoin share of the pie. Now you can sell your Bitcoin or Doge. Like I can sell it right now as long as I keep the $13 on the platform, which I'm not going to get to the point where my account doesn't have $13 in it. So that's fine. You can sell the asset. But the point is you have it. And if you don't sell it, now you get notifications. And the fact that Robinhood was able to give away $5 million because they didn't need the $5 million to match their numbers because the quarter was good, just shows a sign of appreciation from the company to their users, but also shows a sign of financial strength that the company has to the point where they can afford to give away $5 million. So I think everyone that is poo-pooing this completely misread the situation. And I think they're missing the point on what's going on with Robinhood. All right, Tesla is down 4%. Tesla is really taking it on the chin right here. 383 is when it got to the lows. That was about 5 minutes ago. Right now it's at 386. So we'll see if we can get back to that 383. Rivian's up right now. AMD is up. NVIDIA is up. The rest of the market, S&P 500 and the Qs aren't really down because Tesla's down. So the rest of the Max 7 are doing very well. But Tesla themselves are still getting hit as they're going down right now. Omer says, Amit, it is good marketing for Robinhood. Trade Republic, similar app in Germany, does something similar. They give you 3% per year on your savings, which is the key interest rate. Yeah, I agree. In a hyper-attentive economy where attention is the asset, not even money, it's attention. Attention is what then leads to the byproduct, which is capital. You need to get people's attention. And it looks like Robinhood is just becoming stronger and stronger at figuring out how to get people's attention. We got Google, that's up about 1%, Amazon up 1.2%, NVIDIA up 1%, Meta's up 1.3%, Microsoft's up 1.07%. Tesla is the only one right here, along with Apple. Apple's down 0.5%, but Tesla right here is down 4.3% right now. Okay, let's talk about NVIDIA. NVIDIA got another, not upgrade, but a reiteration by Bank of America as their top pick for 2025. So SoFi got downgraded today by KBW. NVIDIA did not get downgraded. NVIDIA got the reiteration of it being the best pick for 2025 from Bank of America with a $190 price target. Oh, wow. We got some breaking news right here. Morgan Stanley's E-Trade is considering crypto trading. Holy crap. E-Trade is reportedly exploring crypto trading, anticipating a more favorable regulatory environment under the incoming Trump administration. If launched, E-Trade would join the ranks of mainstream financial firms competing with Coinbase and other crypto exchanges. Does anyone use E-Trade? Put in the chat. Does anyone use E-Trade? It's still a very popular brokerage, but if E-Trade allows crypto, that is definitely a big deal. That is not a small brokerage. Starting with allowing crypto to be on the platform. Mm-hmm. Edward says, Amit, what is the Illinois trophy on your shelf? So that is from a debate tournament I had in Chicago. It was called the Glenbrooks every November. I was 6th speaker at that tournament, so that is a speaker award from 2015. You know, ironically, I was I think I was number 16 in the tournament, I lost an octafinals round. So you get a trophy in the octafinals round, 17 or 18th place, whatever I was. And I lost that trophy in the tournament, but I kept the speaker award. So I had 2 trophies. I remember that day like it was yesterday. I lost the trophy. I guess I walked away for a second and someone took it by accident. And I was so mad because I wanted the trophy, but I got to keep the speaker award. So still have speaker award, even though I lost the actual trophy. All right, here we go. NVIDIA. A bunch of you guys are saying you do use E-Trade. So it seems like you guys will be able to access crypto soon if E-Trade actually allows it. Here's what Bank of America says on NVIDIA. We reiterate our buy on our sector top pick ahead of the CES trade show that starts on January 6th next week with the keynote from Mr. Jensen Huang, NVIDIA CEO. Specifically, we look forward to robotics from silicon to software and emergence of the physical AI theme, the launch of RTX 50 Blackwell variants of PC gaming cards with enhanced neural rendering and faster R7 memory, potential entry into the AI PC likely via partnership or small chance of standalone PC CPU. That would be interesting if NVIDIA gets into the AI PC markets, kind of competing with NVIDIA there, with the AMD there as well. And then an update on data center, including current generation Blackwell with different variants and a teaser on the next generation Rubin chip that will be out in calendar year 2026. So NVIDIA basically saying, or Bank of America saying, NVIDIA, we are not giving up on you, $190 price target, and we believe that NVIDIA will still do well. Now, here's how the Max 7 performed in 2024. We got about 5 minutes until the markets begin for the first time in 2025, folks. NVIDIA was up 171%, Meta was up 66%, Tesla was up 63%, Amazon 44%, Alphabet 36%, Apple 31%, and Microsoft 13%. So Microsoft did the worst out of the Max 7. NVIDIA did the best. And then Meta and Tesla, Amazon did the next best on the top 4 out of the Max 7. This year, we are starting off with these share prices at elevated levels, right? So, to get another 170% in NVIDIA, it's going to have to go from 135, much higher, right? Versus from 50, like it was starting off last year. I think it was at like $40 last year. So we're definitely starting off at a much higher level. You've got a lot of the mainstream analysts basically saying expect a 10 to 15% correction around large cap tech. Tesla right here down 4% because these valuations are not as sustainable because the growth is going to slow down a little bit and then the valuations will come down and then they will have a rally, but it's going to take some time. I'm still not sold on that view. I'm not sold on the view that Google has to go back to 150. I'm just not. And, maybe Google has to go back to 175, 180, but a real correction, I think, eventually it could happen. I don't think it necessarily happens in the next 2 months, even though in the next 2 months probably would be, you could argue all the variables are lining up for it to happen in the next couple of months. But I kind of think if every analyst feels large cap tech has taken a haircut, maybe that doesn't happen. But we are starting off the year with these stock prices definitely at elevated levels from last year. And now we're going to have to see in 2025, ultimately, how they perform. We got 3 minutes until the market opens. Sofi is going to be a very important one along with Tesla. Sofi at $15.04. It looks like it wants to go below 14. I think there's a shot it goes below 14, but I think that dip gets bought. And we're going to see, because if that dip doesn't get bought, then Sofi definitely is affected by a downgrade that I think is honestly just stupid. I don't think this downgrade makes a lot of sense. The bad thing is less about the downgrade, more so that the stock is still sensitive to these types of downgrades. Like at some point, you want stupid downgrades to not have an effect on the stock anymore. So today's going to be an interesting day to see if this dip can actually get bought up at like 1450 if it settles around there and rebound, or if it stays there for a little bit of time. Tesla delivery numbers for those that are just joining: 495,000. Street wanted 500,000. Unfortunately, that is why Tesla is currently down 3%. So Tesla's also going to be an interesting one today to see if that one can hold up in the face of expectations that just weren't that strong for Tesla currently right now. Okay, we got about a minute left until the market opens. Folks, for the bell, we're going to do something different. So we found out that it's not my bell, it's not my mic, it's StreamYard. StreamYard is indeed the issue that's causing this. They have an audio filter update that immediately filters out super loud noises. So I did something to try to remedy for that. It's not the perfect remedy yet, but hope it's not too bad, and that will get us a little bit larger of a bell, at least today. Hopefully it sounds decent enough. Unfortunately, you won't get the act of me actually ringing it, which is what the whole point of it, but we got to fix this audio issue to allow that to happen. Ty says, thanks StreamYard for ruining our lives. No, literally, dude. For everyone who hated the bell, there's a deep love for all of us for that bell. And unfortunately, StreamYard is now not allowing that to happen. All right, 30 seconds, folks. Holy crap. 30 seconds. First trading day of 2025. This is absolutely wild. We are leaving 2024, moving on to the new year. I hope everyone had a good year. I went to the gym yesterday. I was in the gym. I did the most basic thing. I went there on January 1st. I got a good workout in. My body's sore this morning. That's how I know it was a good workout. And the goal is to lose some weight this year and get in shape. So that's what we're going to be doing starting off for the new year. All right, here we go, folks. 9:30 a.m. Thursday, January 2nd. Happy New Year. The stock market is now open. At least we got some bell. At least we got some bell. All right, here we go. Let's get into it. Tesla opens down 3.38% on the day, 390 on Tesla after missing deliveries by about 10,391 on Tesla, down about 3.13%. Robinhood 38.67, that's up 3.63%. Not bad on Robinhood. That is up right now 4% on today, 38.75 on Robinhood. Not bad at all. We got Palantir 75.64. Palantir just going slightly green right now. Down 0.05% or up 0.13%. It was up a little bit more in the pre-markets, but now it's slightly down, even though it's green on the day. Bitcoin, 96,375. You got Bitcoin right there. That's up about 0.85%. Not bad for Bitcoin. Carnival Cruise is up 1%. AMD is up 1.2%. NVIDIA is up 1.5%. Currently, right now, S&P 500 is up 0.5%. IBIT's up 3.3%. Google's up 1%. Next Decade, that's up 1.95%. It was up 10% on Friday, which was not bad at all for Next Decade. Intel's up 1.2%. Berkshire Hathaway's up a little bit. MSTX is up 7.85%. MicroStrategy's up 3.7% currently right now. Unity is up 10%. We'll talk about that. That has to do with Roaring Kitty. We'll talk about that in a second, but we'll get into what's going on with Roaring Kitty. But that is up. Oh my God, SoFi. There you go, below 15. Holy crap. SoFi's down. SoFi is indeed down, folks. You got SoFi 1480. That's down 3.96%. You got SoFi down. Robinhood 3846. That's up 3.23%. Tesla 4.5% is down. 4.5% for Tessie is down. 4.5% for Tessie is down. 385.92 right now on Tesla. So you got Tesla that is down right here. And we're down at 4.5%. Carnival Cruise at 25.15. AMD. Robinhood is up 3.5%. SoFi now is down 5%. Wow. SoFi and Tesla. SoFi and Tesla getting hit on a day like today. Amazon's moving up. All right, let's check Amazon. Amazon. Yeah, wow. Look at Amazon. Holy crap. A lot of that money left Tesla, went to Amazon. 223 up 1.9% on Amazon. That's nice. Palantir rebounding. That's up 1%. You got a green candle right there. Robinhood up 2.4. Unity's up 12% now. SoFi, goodness gracious, bro. Is the downgrade that serious? Was it that big of a deal? Holy crap. I guess they had a really, that equity research firm had a lot of influence to cause a 6% downgrade. Bitcoin back above 97. Look at Bitcoin doing its thing today. Bitcoin not doing too bad. Thank you, Amitz Bell, for the super chat. I will be back soon, guys. Enjoying vacation with wifey. All-time highs loading. Happy New Year. You guys are hilarious in the chat. The fact that someone made a channel called Amitz Bell and sent a super chat is hilarious. But thank you for that. Bitcoin right there, 96,600. So Bitcoin just dropped 400 points in a second. That was pretty quick. Robinhood right here, 37.93. That's up 1.95%. That's down from 38. SoFi, goodness gracious, bro. 7% down feels a bit unwarranted. A little bit. Feels a little manipulated to me. But SoFi's down. And then Tessie right here down 4.5. I think that was expected given the miss on deliveries. But you're down 4.95% on Tesla, almost 5% right here. Nvidia's up 2%, so some of that money is rotating from Tesla to Nvidia and Amazon. IBIT's up 3.7%. S&P's up 0.5%. Google's slightly up, although it might go red. Celsius is up 3.3%. Not bad for Celsius. Apple also. Apple, Tesla, SoFi. SoFi, we know why it's down in terms of the equity report. Apple, I don't really know why it's down. Tesla, we know why it's down, but Apple kind of following with Tesla in terms of getting hit. Rumble's down 1.5. TLT's up a little bit, which is nice to see. Marathon's up 3%. CleanSpark's up 3%. Rocket Lab is down 1.8. Uber, 2.95%. That's up a little bit. And SoFi continues to go down. Continues to go down. Goodness, I don't think this is justified on SoFi, but you're getting a dip right here. Look, this is the opportunity to sell puts. If you're bullish on SoFi, put premiums are up today. So if you like SoFi at 11 or 12 bucks, or even $13, or even $14, these are the days where you sell puts. The question is, how long does it last in this 6% range down, or when does it rebound here? Also, we're starting off 2025 with some companies dipping, some companies not dipping, right? So there's not a sort of definitive trend like we had over the past 5 days where we went red in 2024 to end out the year. The last time that happened was 1966. The year after was actually up 20%, which is good news. But this is going to be interesting today to see if we get any divergence between certain sectors of companies, which means it kind of reaffirms this thesis that it's a stock picker's market, or if everything goes down or everything goes up, which is basically the trend that we saw in 2024. Now, the reason Unity is up right now is because Roaring Kitty tweeted a meme or a GIF, and the GIF was a skit from Dave Chappelle as Rick James, and on his ring in the skit, the word is Unity. So some people are speculating, okay, Roaring Kitty has had some ties to Unity in the past. He's bullish on Unity again. Maybe he has a position in Unity. No one knows because he hasn't disclosed it. He's probably not in GameStop or Chewy anymore. He looks like he's out of those plays. So if our guy Kitty is in Unity, I mean, that might be a reason right here why Unity is currently up 9% right now. Robinhood up 1%. SoFi now down 7.2%. Palantir right here. Wow, Palantir getting hit. Palantir down 2.23%. Palantir is down 2.23% right here on the day. So you got Palantir that is indeed down. 2.3%. I don't know why Palantir is down, but Palantir is down. And we are getting some weakness. Oh my God, Tesla. No one told me Tesla was down 6.78%. Holy crap. 6.78% all in Tesla. Okay, I just got a notification on Robinhood that the first set of my options that I've been holding for about a year have been filled, and I just took profits on them. Let me see on some of the other ones. Today is the day that I'm closing out my entire Robinhood options position, so we are closing that out today. Let's see if we can get the next batch of these guys filled. I'm putting in the order right now, and we are all right. We got the next batch of the orders filled. And although it sucks that Tesla is crashing, I am indeed taking some profits on Hood. They're not filling at the exact value I would like them to fill out, but that's okay. There's a max value on the spread, but I'm not going to be greedy here because I have 15 days until expiration, and I am not going to take a chance. So if I can get 95% of the value that I want from these contracts, I'm going to take it, and I will be happy. Let's see if this one fills as well. Let's do this one. And let's see if these end up filling. So we got a couple more orders in. Oh, that one just filled. All right, we got about a few more contracts left. Let's see if they fill. Let's see if they fill in. Let's get them then. Goodness gracious, Tesla 376. Hood is slightly going green, even though it was more green. Sofi, oh my gosh, bro. Like, this is pretty incredible. This is pretty damn incredible. 1406, folks. We are 8 cents away. 8 cents away from this thing going down even further. From this thing going down to 8, from this thing going down below 13. Pouncer's down. Yeah, Pouncer's down 3.6. A lot of weird. See, but it's weird. Mag 7 names are up. All these Mag 7 names are up, but Tesla is indeed down. And SoFi, along with Pouncer. I don't know why Pouncer's down today. It looks like people are just waking up and selling it. Bitcoin right here, 96,000, but it is still down currently right now. Okay, I have the final batch of orders on Hood that I'm going to close out, folks. We're not going to get the max amount, but that is okay because at the end of the day, we can't be too greedy. We got to see if we can take some profits here. So let's see. Let's put in this order. Let's see if it goes through. And we'll start exiting these. Okay, I might have to do 1 cent lower here. Let me just replace this. I won't tell you guys the exact amount because I want to at least keep that a little private, but it is as this order gets filled. Oh, that one just got filled. All right. It is a multi 6-figure profit. I have one more batch. I believe I'm going to take that one down a little bit. Let's take off a couple cents off this one. Let's see if we get this one filled. Yes. Do we get this filled? Yeah. All right, folks. There you go. This is the most amount of money I've ever made in a single day in my life. Took an entire year plus of holding, but there you go. I can say that I'm staring at an amount of money that is the most amount of money I've ever stared at in my life, which is pretty insane. It is a multi 6-figure profit. Been holding it for the past couple of years. Believed in Robinhood. I have all my Robinhood stock. Robinhood stock is still a 6-figure position for me. Robinhood stock, I'm not even for a second thinking of selling. But these options do expire in 15 days. I said I would wait until January 2nd so I can at least avoid a little bit of the tax burden next year or this year. And that is what's happened. All right, there you go. We're done. The Hood prophecy has been fulfilled, at least from the options perspective. We still have the stock to look forward to, but the Hood options have been taken in terms of profits. We didn't get the exact amount. We got, let me give you guys the actual number. Let me do this division right here. We got 98.3% of the max value. We could have got an extra 5,000 if we got 100% of it, but still, that's all right. We got it. All right, there you go. That's there it is. That's the biggest win I've ever had in the stock market when it comes to options. And yeah, deal is done. I told my parents I would send them a text with like deal is done. Like I'm in the mafia or something. I'm gonna send them that text right now. I'm gonna send them a deal is done with a freaking green check emoji. My mom texted me this morning. She's like, good luck on the deal. I was like, Mom, you're really treating this like it's a mafia deal or something. Deal is done. Boom. All right, there we go. You know, because of this, I was able to pay off my mom's credit card debt over the Christmas break. It was It was pretty cool. So just moving on in life, trying to keep this momentum going. Thank you everybody for the good wishes. I appreciate everyone in the chat. Big shout out to Chris Patel. Chris is the one who taught me how to do call debit spreads, which is the thousands of contracts I just sold in the market. And the only reason I was able to get these gains is because I had a mentor like Chris teach me how to do these strategies. I was able to, find Robinhood on my own outside of Chris, but he taught me the strategies on how to execute on some of these asymmetric bets. And that's why we got there today. All right, there we go. 14.29 on SoFi. That's down 7.29%. Bitcoin, 96,600. Carnival Cruise is up a little bit. Where is Tessie? Tessie's at 382. All right, so Tesla bottomed at 373. Now it's at 382. Down 5.3% on the day. Still down, not really recovering. But Tesla is indeed declining from these levels. Wow, next decade, that's up 6.5%. This is another stock Chris has been talking about. It's up 15% in the past couple of days. Has to do with liquefied natural gas, a lot of stuff with energy infrastructure. Haven't fully done my DD on this one yet. Still doing more DD on it, but Chris is a fan of this one. Also, Matt Money is a fan of this one. Up 6.2% currently right now on next decade. Where's Palantir? Palantir's down 4%. I don't know why, guys. I don't think there's any news on Palantir. Not any news I saw over the weekend or over the week. But Palantir is down 4%. This might be one of the things where the market goes, hey, what are some names that we made a lot of money on? Oh, I mean, this is another reason Palantir is probably down. People, ironically, just like what I did, they're taking profits, right? People are taking profits in the stock market because they're up and they need to sell. And they waited until January 2nd to not get the tax burden for this year instead for 2026. So that could be another reason why Palantir's down. People are just taking profits. That could be very fair. Just bought the SoFi dip. Who bought SoFi and Tesla? Put in the chat. Who bought SoFi and Tesla? Who bought SoFi and Tesla? I am not buying anything today, even with the dips. You know why? Because I want to be a little disciplined. This is the first time in my life where I've seen multi-six figures just sitting there waiting for me to spend. I do not want to be the kid in the candy store that says, oh, here we go. I can buy this. I can buy that. I want to just chill out a little bit and just let it sit there. So I'm not buying anything unless things get really stupid, because I kind of just want to not be like that today. I want to just let the money sit there, have a plan for it, and keep going. However, I mean, Tesla put premiums. If the premiums are up there, if we stay down 5%, selling puts on Tesla at around 350, it doesn't look horrible. Same thing with SoFi, selling puts around $12 doesn't look horrible to me. So I might not do that today. If I do, I'll let you guys know when the market close. But those two, if they continue to stay down, does not seem horrible. Bought Tesla. Sold SoFi cash secured puts, bought Tesla. We got a lot of you guys saying you bought some Tesla today. All right, so people are buying the Tesla dip for sure. People are buying SoFi. Also, guys, I don't know how this is happening, but Fartcoin is up 45%. Again, I don't know what to make of this. I think Fartcoin actually has the best community, which is why it keeps going up. Derek just said, check your text. All right, what did Derek send me? Yo, I really can't with this guy, bro. I can't. All right, guys. Well, I made some money today off of holding options for a year and a half. Mr. Derek made $100,000 in 15 minutes. So there's Derek's 390 put on Tesla. This guy really wanted to go 2 for 2, bro. This guy really wanted to go 2 for 2. So as you can see, it expires tomorrow. He bought it today, meaning at 9:30, and he's up $100,000, 63% in 40 minutes. Derek is one of the smartest investors I know, value investor, but goodness gracious, does he have some degen in him. Holy crap, bro. Well, it's worked. It's working. I mean, up 100,000 in a couple minutes. And see, this is the crazy thing about the equity markets. Derek's playing with a couple $100,000 here. There are Wall Street firms right now that are playing with hundreds of millions of dollars when it comes to Tesla puts and Tesla calls, and they're going back and forth. And a 5% move in a stock, I mean, for these Wall Street firms, it can literally mean hundreds of millions of dollars on the option side when it comes to hedging their positions. And obviously for Derek, it looks like a $103,000 gain in a couple minutes. Derek is a risk taker. He's a risk taker, but he's degenerate. He's a risk taker in life because he builds companies and startups and stuff. But when it comes to the market, he loves these degen plays so much. I mean, but it worked. It made sense. Tesla missed on deliveries. So where's the stock going to go? It's going to go down. It would be quite surprising if Tesla was up after it misses on deliveries, right? If Tesla was actually up at freaking $415 or something after missing deliveries, that would be crazy. So it does make sense, and the option has worked out in that direction. Unity right here is up 15%. Holy crap. Roaring Kitty tweet definitely helping. SoFi recovering a little bit. So Robinhood as well recovering a little bit. You got a V shape right there, 37 to 38. SoFi 1440 down about 6.4%. AMD 1.1%. Nvidia still up 0.5%. Next decade, wow, up 7%. That one's not stopping. MSTR back above 300. That's nice. And then Palantir down 3%. I really think that's just profit taking. I don't think there's anything else to that. Bitcoin 97,000 currently right now. Bitcoin's at 97. Uranium's going crazy today. That is a fact. For those that are just joining, the jobless claims that came in were 211,000 versus 222,000. So that was lower than expected, which is good. And then mortgage rates were up at 6.95%, 6.97%, up from 6.75%. So mortgage rates went up, 10 years down a little bit. Oil prices are up 1%. And then initial jobless claims came in less than expected by about 10,000. And that's some of the macro outlook we had this morning. But nonetheless, the Tesla news is one of the main headlines today, as that one's down about 5% right here. Rocket Lab's going down. Why is Rocket Lab going down? Rocket Lab's down 3%. Is anyone selling as well? Let me ask that question. Who's selling? Who took some profits that they've been waiting to take for like a year and a half? Who actually took some profits? Put in the chat if you actually took some profits today. Curious if anyone actually took some profits. No. And if you did, let me know what you sold. 2025 is Uber's year. Well, Uber, again, Goldman Sachs named them as their number one pick for 2025. Maybe if Tesla goes down, the Uber sentiment comes back. That could be something that happens. Chris CRM says, I'm noticing the stocks that are up are those that fell so far. Edit, Wolf, and Fastly. I bought all three. Closed Tesla calls. All right, so some people took some profits on Rocket Lab. Chris said I sold SoFi and Palantir, took some profits there. Andy said he sold all of his Tesla. All right, so we got some people taking some profits here. Doug said I sold some Hood Leaps as well. All right, people took profits. People took profits today. I mean, that's another reason why we're seeing some red. But in the face of that, Robinhood's still up 3.3%. And then freaking the S&P is not red yet. S&P is green. And the futures were green last night too. Now, futures were being a little bipolar. They were going back and forth, but futures are green still. Palantir's recovering a little bit from 72 to 73. Rivian is up 1.3, and then Tesla's the only one that's actually kind of getting hit right here at these levels. Carnival Cruise 2515, Rivian that's up a little bit as well. Amit, let's discuss Nubank. All right, we'll discuss Nubank. So I actually talked to Nubank I didn't talk to Nubank. I talked to Tanner, good friend of the channel, does Hood Weekly with me. He's been bullish Nubank for a long time. To his credit, he's been bullish since $3. Nubank is facing a lot of problems in Brazil in regards to their currency. They're facing some headwinds from that. They're facing headwinds from a strong dollar. But Sam, who I had on the channel a couple weeks ago, who's bullish on Nubank, along with Tanner, told me they really like it at $10. They really like it. It was at 16, meaningful dip. The idea that it goes back to 7 or 8 is hard to see. If it does happen, they were saying that's a screaming buy the dip opportunity. It looks like Chris is getting excited for Nubank as well. So I'll do some more DD on Nubank, but I don't know. The U.S. market's expensive. Emerging markets are cheaper. The problem is you have to be patient because the dollar's strong, but maybe there are some growth plays across the world. Grab is obviously one that I'm a big fan of. That one's up a little bit today. And maybe there's some other places to look at besides just the United States. TMDX, yes, this one's up 8% today. I don't know why this one's up 9.5%. They had a nasty Q4 where they were down 50%, but that one is currently up. So we're gonna have to see kind of what happened to that. That one's up now 10.14% on the day. Fubo, is Fubo moving? Fubo that one's up 7.9% as well. Yep, Fubo's moving as well. Scott said Nubank's headwinds are FX, not fundamental. Yeah, I do agree with that as well. I mean, that's another reason I'm getting excited about it. I mean, I talked to Tanner for like an hour about it last week because I really wanted to like get his thoughts on it. But yes, I agree that the headwinds seem to be more about currency changes, not about anything fundamental, which, that creates an asymmetric opportunity at that point if it's a temporary reason. ND says, I sold all Tesla options today for short-term, planning to buy back soon. Tess says, I bought new again today. I like it. All right. So Tess is on the train. Tess was up 1,500% last year. So if she likes a stock, then I listen to her. If she sees, and by the way, she was up 1,500% without leverage, which is wild, bro, because I was up. So my year-to-date returns for everyone, just to show you guys the percentage return, I was up 275%. I ended out the year with 275. I used a decent amount of leverage on those hood options that helped me get there. But to do it without leverage is very special. The NASDAQ ended down up 30%, S&P up 23%, Dow Jones up 13%, IWM Russell lagged up 11%. A lot of people in the comments as well were up triple digits. It was an incredible year for retail. I mean, you don't get a year like this for retail often. And it was a freaking amazing year for retail. I know a lot of you guys have done very well. I think the goal now is to not really replicate it in 2025, because I think it takes a little bit of humility in recognizing that that's probably not going to happen to go up another 275%, but to try to maintain it, you know, and not let it fall away and protect it, I think is important next year as well, or this year at this point, because we're in 2025. All right, where's SoFi? Is SoFi chilling out a little bit? Are we still below? Look, it's not bad. I mean, it was at wow, it touched 13. It touched 1394. Now it's at 1453. That is not horrible, in my opinion. That's not crazy. Down 5%. At least we are up from that 1394 range, but still not enough for people to get excited. Bitcoin just below 97. Tesla still below 4%. Can't get its footing. Enphase, our solar stocks up right now. Solar stocks are up 5.3%. Nice. That's not bad. SolarEdge is up 10.8%. Wow, that's up as well. ASML is up. I think Joseph Carlson made a video on them. He bought ASML. I didn't watch the video, but I know people are getting a little bit more bullish on this one as well, since he's interested in this name. We got ASML right here at 2.45%. Is Hood running? Are we running on Hood? Yeah, look at that. Look at little Hoodie. Hoodie's up almost 5% on the day. Not bad for Mr. Hood. Okay, so one thing I want to tell you guys that's interesting. I was curious how my margin would increase on Robinhood after I took my profits today. And one thing I was researching was that your brokerage only gives you margin if you own stock, because they use the stock as collateral for the margin. So if you have cash in your brokerage, they're not going to increase the margin. That's one thing I read. But I was like, that doesn't make sense, because every time my balance in my brokerage goes up, the margin increases. So today was the day to confirm kind of how it would play out. And I'm looking at my margin right now. These guys are giving me a lot of margin. These guys are giving me, if I do the math correct, they're giving me 217% more in margin than the individual cash that I have in my brokerage right now, which is kind of insane, bro. And like, this is another reason why just like building the account really matters. Because with margin, again, I don't use margin to buy stocks in terms of paying interest, but I do use margin to sell puts. And if you can sell puts on margin conservatively, and you understand kind of how the price direction works out, you're able to use a brokerage's cash without paying interest on it to generate a return via collateralizing options with the brokerage's money versus your money. Why would the brokerage do this for without paying interest? Because they're happy that you're trading, right? They make money off the trade. So that's kind of wild, bro. It's kind of wild to just give someone that much money and they're like, hey, yeah, it's not yours, but you can use it. It's like, it's a little dangerous too, as well. But I was curious to see how that would play out. And yeah, that's a decent amount of money. Hood 3910. So Hood really getting some love right here, up a nice 5%. Makes sense after the momentum they had over the weekend. Sorry, not over the weekend, but over the New Year's break. They absolutely crushed it. And that New Year's Eve promotion looks like the market's getting excited for them. Derek says during the day, they give you 3x. Holy crap, dude. That is a lot of money. Like, it's not my money, but it's a lot of money, dude. I didn't think they would increase it by that much. That's a decent amount. And I guess they have algorithms inside the account that automatically update, like when you add more money. Did your mom text back? Did she text back? No, she didn't text back yet. She's probably at work. She probably didn't see it yet. It's so wild though, because I've been holding these options for a year, right? And so like, it's just been so funny because my parents know about it. There's no way I couldn't tell my parents. Like, at some point I was trying to hide it from my parents, because, sometimes you want to keep private, but I mean, dude, it's my parents. I live with them. Like, I had to kind of tell them what was happening. And so they knew when Robinhood went up or down, like on earnings, when Robinhood fell below 25 and my strike price was 25, my dad walked in. He was like, how you doing? I was like, I'm good. I'm good. To get through this. I was so upset, bro. I was so pissed off. I was like, this better work, bro. Been holding these suckers for 2 years or a year and a half at this point. Even Derek, he called me the night where Hood crapped on earnings, and he was like, "Dude, you look really sad." I was like, "I'm not sad. I'm just disappointed. I'm not sad. I'm a little disappointed, but I think we'll." And you know what I did? You know what I fucking did the next day? I bought the damn dip. I bought the dip, and the options I bought during that dip are up like 80% because I did buy some more options for 2027 on Hood on that dip. So I said, "Screw it. We are going down with it." I believe in the story. I believe it'll play out. We just got to keep seeing if that could ultimately happen. Amit, are you putting away a portion of your taxes next year, or is your plan to reinvest all the profits? No, I'm putting away money for taxes because Uncle Sam wants his share, and there's a decent amount I have to pay. Basically, I'm working for the next 5 months. Whatever income I make in life, YouTube, the stock market, all of it is basically getting ready to be given to Uncle Sam on April 15th. So if anything, hopefully I'll break even by April 15th and I won't have to take a lot of money out of the brokerage to pay the taxes. SoFi 1469, little recovery right there. Palantir 7518, Bitcoin 97,000. S&P 500 is up. S&P, wow, 590. Guys, 590 is not bad. 590 is not bad at all. Derek says, bro, tell them my strategy. This helps you pay no taxes. Okay, one thing. So this is actually really cool that Derek taught me about that I'll let you guys know about. Again, this is not tax advice. I'm not a CPA, CFA. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a lawyer. This is just one strategy that many wealthier people end up using in the markets to save money on taxes. And it's not that you don't pay taxes. It's just that you delay your taxes. There have been people in the stock market that are very wealthy and they make hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in profit, right? Well, do you want to pay all of that to the government? Obviously not. So how do you get away from that? You do what any business person does. Honestly, you do what a lot of these public companies do. You show losses. If you can show losses against your gains, you can offset the taxes that you have to pay. So what a lot of rich people did, and I found this out over the past couple of weeks just by doing some research. Derek told me about this as well. Again, he's in a different stratosphere when it comes to kind of wealth and how how he manages his personal finances in the market. You can go long and short a stock and lose on your short, win on your long, and extend your profits into the next year, right? So let's say you're up $1 billion in the stock market, but then you go short SoFi. Today would not be the day to do that because they would have printed. But let's say you go short SoFi on December 31st, long SoFi on December 31st. One of those is going to be wrong, right? Like SoFi is not going to win on both sides. If it goes up, your short's going to be down. If it goes down, your long's going to be down. Whichever one goes down is the one you sell and you show the losses on. And whichever one goes up, you carry on into the next year. Now, eventually, when you take profits on that, you're going to have to show the taxes, right? But you're kind of kicking the can down the road in terms of paying the taxes. Amazon did this for a decade. Amazon did this. Amazon did not pay taxes from 2010 to 2019. Why? Because every year they essentially showed a crap ton of losses. Granted, Amazon's a very big business and they have to spend a lot of money, they reinvest a lot of money, etc. And all those losses kept negating their income tax. It wasn't until 2020 where they actually paid $1 in federal income tax. And this got a lot of people mad in 2020, and there were these documentaries on it, and people were getting mad at Bezos. But Amazon's stock kept going up because investors didn't care. They were like, we think Amazon's a growth story for the future, even though they didn't pay taxes. So there is a way to save on taxes. And again, it's saving on taxes. It's not paying the taxes because eventually you have to pay it. But if you need a few more years to get the capital to pay it, and you can kick the can down the road by having one long call, one short call, one of them works, one of them doesn't work, and then you extend the one that's working into the future, the one that doesn't work, you sell it on December 31st and show all the losses, then boom, theoretically for 2024, if you had $1 billion in profit, but you had a $700 million loss, you're paying taxes on $300 million versus $1 billion, which is much different. Capping your gains is still a tax. Yes, that's fair. Again, this is not a perfect strategy. It's really meant for people that have lots and lots of gains and just want to take some more time before they pay it off. But all the public companies do this. It's just a question of how you can navigate it within your own portfolio. Again, not for everybody. And it's actually you have to know how to navigate the strategy to the point where you have the right amount of losses against your gains. But it is one strategy that some people still try to do. You still lose money. Yes, you still do lose some money. That is something that you have to do. Christian says, but those are just delaying the taxes. Correct. There is no way you can get out of paying taxes in the United States of America, but you can delay it a little bit. At least I think, right? This is my understanding of how the strategy is used. Other people use different strategies, but this is one of those strategies that's out there in the world. NVIDIA doing NVIDIA things today. Okay, where is NVIDIA? NVIDIA right here, 137.4. That's up 2.33% right now on NVIDIA. So we do have NVIDIA going green. Is Tesla at all going red? Tesla's down 4%. Tesla's still down 4%. And Bitcoin is above 97. Bitcoin is above 97. Uber is such a vibe today. You know, I love that word vibe. Vibe is such a good word. It's one of the best words ever. I love the word vibe. Chris says death is the ultimate tax hack. Oh my God. Chris, I'm calling you right now. Let's get your thoughts on 2025 and what's going on in the markets. Let's get Chris here on the phone and see what he has to say about equities. Death is the ultimate tax hack, but don't they tax you when you die? It's like an estate tax, right? You can't get out of it, I think. Chris, what's up? Good morning. You hear me?
Dude.
Yeah, you're there. You're there.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, death is the ultimate tax hack.
It is the ultimate tax hack. Chris, first of all, Happy New Year to your brother. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you for being an amazing friend to me. And obviously, thank you for the strategy for call debit spreads, because it definitely benefited me a lot today and it's changed my life. But 2025, dude, give me your raw thoughts. It's January 2nd. I'll ask you the same question on December 31st this year. What do you think are going to happen to markets this year? And what is the main thing on your mind right now?
Okay, so this is where we kind of have to like look back at fundamentals and ask ourselves like where we are in the market cycle. We've had a great couple of years. The challenge that we're running into though is that large caps have run significantly, but there are large caps within the general market that are, pretty unique to their business. They're very strong businesses. They're not going anywhere. But they are dragging the entire market higher. So one of the things that we're going to have to deal with in the next probably 6 months is a slowing economy. Like all the data that I am looking at is showing a slowing economy. So even if the company is going to do a really good job of, doing its earnings and stuff, you're going to end up getting multiple contraction, right? So anytime the economy is down, you're going to get multiple contraction because there's going to be fear into the market. So I'd say this is the time where you really have to be very careful in which companies you're picking up here in the US. But on the other hand, we've got the international markets and some really great companies outside the US that are actually doing really well, but they've just been hit by some currency headwinds. And once these currency headwinds get, downplayed, the companies will rally. Whether that be companies in South America, in some China companies.
Chris, what would it take for those currency headwinds to go down? Like, I guess, how does the dollar get weak, and does Trump want the dollar to get weak?
Absolutely. So right now, the U.S. is running huge trade deficits, which means that our exporters are suffering, because basically what happens is if the dollar is strong, the people outside the U.S., if they want to buy goods and services in the U.S., they're rather expensive, right? So Trump would want the U.S. dollar to weaken. So how do you weaken the U.S. dollar? Well, one of the ways that you do it is that the rest of the world is in deflation mode. So you need to basically start cutting interest rates as well, right? So if our inflation rate comes down, then that gives the Fed the ability to cut interest rates. And if the Fed cuts interest rates, the strong dollar starts to go the other way. The issue is that the general economy right now, for what I'm seeing, is things are actually slowing down, right? The consumer is not as healthy as a lot of people are making it out to be. And I think January, we're gonna have to watch those jobs numbers very closely, because I think there's going to be a massive revision downward in the total amount of unemployment that's out there. On top of that, you've got housing prices coming down. So there's a lot of dynamics that are saying, valuations are at all-time highs. Market participation by households is at all-time highs. The Wilshire, Wilshire 5,000 to GDP, which is like the Buffett indicator, that's also at all-time highs. So we're at a point right now where we have to be cautious, okay? This doesn't mean that completely get out of the market. Just you got to be very cautious, understand what you're getting yourself into, and find companies that are, still value centric. It might not be a bad idea to go long on bonds, actually, which is what I'm doing right now, and also looking at EMs, so emerging markets, because they'll benefit significantly from a weaker dollar.
So Nubank, give me a little bit of DD on that. By the way, guys, Uber is moving nicely. Palantir's green. Tesla still down 3%, and Bitcoin 97,000. What do you like off just a high, not like super deep nitty gritty DD, but off a high level? What do you like around Nubank?
Well, Nubank right now is just expansion mode everywhere. If you look at the total amount of users, they've got 105 million users. Okay, which is a crazy number if you think about it. And they're actually very profitable. They've been doing really well. If it wasn't for the FX headwinds, these guys would be at north of like 17 right now. Okay, so in terms of like raw performance, they're very, very good. They're very efficient, great leadership. It's for us as U.S. investors, we get a double whammy of benefits because we're using U.S. dollars to buy a company that's doing business in Brazilian reals, Mexican pesos. So we're getting a discount if you think about it. So right now, imagine you're buying a U.S. company. You're buying a U.S. company with U.S. dollars. That's at an all-time high. If you buy an international company, you're getting a discount because the currency which they do businesses in is actually down right now. So if you look at the Dixie right now, it's really messed. It's just really, really difficult. Now, the thing with the Trump administration is that they're going to want to have less trade deficits. And the only way they're going to do that is by weakening the dollar. Now, this is where the economists are a little bit confused because when you put up trade barriers like tariffs, those kind of like negate that benefit that you get. So this is where, it's a little bit confusing to see like what exactly the Trump administration is going to do. But as far as I'm concerned, I see just valuations are really high in the United States. It's time to look a little bit elsewhere. There's still a lot of opportunities all across the globe. And right now, I think is a good time because that's the contrarian play. Energy could also be another great place to be right now. Energy among all of the sectors, energy is the lowest right now in terms of like value. The challenge is you don't want to be in a cyclical part of the energy sector. You kind of want to be in like the yielding sectors that, provide the infrastructure layer where, number one, they have tons of cash flow. They benefit from lower interest rates in the future. So I continue to believe right now the Fed kind of gave us like a 2 rate cut scenario. I actually think we're probably going to get more like 4.
Why do you think we get 4 cuts instead of 2?
So I think the first half, what we're likely to see is a weakening economy. And once those numbers start to show up in the data with a weakened economy, it's going to put the incentive back on the Fed, the onus on the Fed to start cutting rates again.
But that's not good for the market if we have a weakening economy, right?
No, of course not.
Yeah.
But that's not. But remember, it depends on what part of the market you're in, right? The different asset classes are going to react differently. Like right now, the small caps, I think, are a canary in the coal mine for me because if you see how the rates, like the 10-year Treasury started to go up, you started to see a correction in IWM, which is a lot more rate sensitive. So you could see when rates coming down, you could see a little bit of a recovery in IWM, but that also means that there might be, drags from other places too. So I think overall the economy is not in the best shape right now. I think a lot of people are hurting. There's layoffs that are coming. I don't know if anyone here in the chat is in the trucking sector, but the trucking sector has lost a ton of jobs.
Yeah.
Like a ton. So a lot of those things are going to start to be felt soon enough. And then when they start getting felt, people are gonna want to move around. So.
Real quick, Chris, we got a breaking news. Hindenburg just went short on Carvana. That just came out. Carvana is up 2%, even though Hindenburg went short. They say there are accounting issues, financial headwinds, lax underwriting, and a variety of SEC investigations. All right, so we'll keep an eye on Carvana.
Auto is a big problem right now because you're seeing a lot of car companies with excess inventory on dealer lots from all that production in 22. On top of it, you're seeing what's that thing called? You're seeing auto loan default rates starting to climb up as well. So like I said, the consumer right now, especially at the lower end of the spectrum, they're really hurting right now. The people that are not hurting are people at probably at the top that have stable jobs, that have like 3%.
We saw that in automotive delinquencies as well. It's the highest it's ever been, right?
Yeah. Well, it's not the highest it's ever been, but it's getting there. You know, it's starting to rise up. Same thing with credit card default rates. They're starting to climb as well. So we have to really just take into consideration, watch the market, be cautious. This doesn't mean sell everything and go into 100% defensive, but it just means that you have to be very careful in what you're looking at. So if the valuation of the companies that you're looking at are extended beyond the current growth rate, any slowdown in growth is going to end up seeing a massive pullback. So just be careful.
All right, Chris, last question for you. Tesla deliveries, were you disappointed in this number?
I mean, I don't track Tesla like a lot of other people do, because I just don't track it that much. I do know, however, that, you know, their revenue numbers have been coming down. Their growth rate has been coming down. So a lot of the optimism around Tesla lately has pretty much been coming from, you know, the Tesla bot being a big thing in the future. You know, maybe like FSD becoming a real thing. And then on top of it, you've got the prospect of robo-taxis being there as well. So those are the kinds of things that are leading the market to think that Tesla is going to be a monster company. It's like a $5 trillion company. And I'm like, probably that could happen. But the challenge is, in the short term, you're dealing with all the issues around sales. You know, so eventually those other industries that they're, you know, giving some promise to, they could work out. But
well, what price? So you tried FSD, you like it, you think it's game changer. What price does 300 get you excited? 350? Is there any price?
I don't think there's any real price on Tesla right now. If you look at the fundamentals on Tesla, it's trading at like 140 PE right now, right?
Yeah.
Or close to something like that. So until those numbers start to come up, that, like, you know, Tesla's been selling more FSD, and, you know, their robo-taxi division is starting to generate revenue, I'm not necessarily thrilled with buying Tesla. So
okay, is Google, I imagine, correct?
Well, Google is definitely one, but I'd also look at Mercado Libre.
Okay, Melly.
Look at Mercado Libre. Yeah, Melly.
Right.
Look at Mercado Libre. You know,
right.
They are literally. Mercado Libre it's in so many sectors and so many industries, and it's like a freaking little monster right now. So I'd say definitely look at Mercado Libre.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you. Again, as a friend, you mean a lot to me. Today was a big day in my life, and a lot of it is because of you.
Now you got to start learning about getting into fixed income, because that is the next.
Wait. Now I can't be a degenerate gambler on hood options. Now I have to save the money. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, you can still be a degenerate gambler. It's just make sure that you're taking the winnings and putting it on the side, and then turning it into a long-term fixed income, so that this way, when the lean years come, you still got a nice income coming in, and you're not having to shuck and jive like some of other YouTubers. Like, hey guys, do my course. I'll teach you how to make money in the market. Like, no, stop. You know, like right now, the benefit that you have is that you're making good money, but then at the same time, you want to make sure that when things dry up, you also, you have a steady income coming in, so you don't have to basically go out there and try to hustle people to get more money.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. Thank you so much. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye. All right, folks, we're getting a little bit of a recovery here. 75.74 right here on Palantir, up a little bit. Palantir going green. Tesla still down. Sofi, it's making its way back. If you bought it at 13 or in the low 14s, congrats. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to reverse back to the downside unless you get some more bad news. But 1394 to 1486, it's only down 3% right here. Still below 15, but very close. It's trying to make its way back into that $15 range. Derek says, real estate, bro, you got to diversify. Yes, real estate is on the list. Definitely do have to diversify into other things. I think, look, that's my big goal of 2025 as well. It's like, 2024 was a year to, I say degenerate, but in reality, I mean, be asymmetric in terms of making bets in derivatives, which sounds more intellectual, but in reality means be degenerate and buy hood options, or not even hood options, options on anything. Now it's more so like, hey, bro, if you're gonna do that again and you lose your money, you have no one to blame but yourself. So I do think there's a level of, let's protect the money. Let's not try to go for a 6x return. And let's, try to get 20-30%. That would be nice. That would be pretty good. That's what we got to do. Robinhood, though, just continues to climb. What they did over the weekend is why I'm going to be buying more Robinhood stock. I'll probably sell puts at $34. I kind of want to see how the next couple of weeks turn out on Robinhood, how the market looks like. But dude, I mean, Robinhood, it's so funny because I went through this whole journey with Robinhood in terms of buying options. And now I want to get a little bit more into selling options. One of the number one stocks I want to sell options on is Robinhood because I understand the company so well. I understand dynamics. I understand what could take the company down. I understand what could take the company higher. And I'd be more than happy to own more shares of this stock. I mean, what they did over the New Year's Eve break with this whole giveaway and keeping users engaged, and the fact that a company felt comfortable enough to give away $5 million because they didn't even need it to beat on their earnings estimates. Like, it's a one-of-a-kind company. 3 events coming up this year. I'm sure there's tons of new innovations they're getting ready to launch. Futures aren't even out yet. Futures are going to make way more money than equity trading volumes because they're going to make 10x the amount in terms of their take rate on futures. So there's a lot to look forward to, a lot for it to grow for. And I think it'll still be a big part of investing in 2025. I'm glad you're not trying to call yourself Derivamit anymore. Oh my God. Derivamit is a cool name though. Derivamit is not a bad name. It's a dope name. Is Fartcoin still up? Fartcoin is now up 47%, folks. Of course, why not? $1.40 on Fartcoin. Look at that. It's just incredible. The fact that this thing is holding up also tells me that I don't know if the markets are that prone to collapse. Because again, Fartcoin doesn't survive when we have a correction, or it's not supposed to, which keeps making me thinking maybe we're not going to have a crazy correction anytime soon. Now, granted, we're like every year you get at least one correction. Every year, no matter what. Every 14 months you get a correction. We did get it in August. The correction is defined as 10% down. We did get it. It was August 5th. It did happen. Although it was really quick, it did happen. So maybe 2025. I mean, I think 2025 it will happen. I just don't know when. And I don't know if it has to happen before Trump gets into office. I mean, what do you think about the 1.5 trillion of commercial real estate debt? This is an interesting question. Commercial real estate was a big issue in 2023. Everyone thought it would actually be the new subprime mortgage crisis. It turned out for that not to be the case. So I don't think it's necessarily that big of a deal in regards to all of the refinancing that's going on. The problem is we have a couple trillion in student loan debt, got a couple trillion in automotive debt, you got a couple trillion in commercial real estate debt, then you have 36 trillion of national debt. So specific to commercial real estate, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but the overall debt story is bad, and something's got to be done in Trump's term to try to navigate it, even if not necessarily resolve it, but at least hopefully give us a path of trying to resolve it for our kids, because they're going to be the ones who actually have the problems to deal to try to fix this stuff. Maybe the Bitcoin reserve ends up fixing it, but yeah, it's just a lot more debt that we're currently taking as a country. And we got to be able to figure that situation out. Go 6 figures on Fartcoin. Could you imagine, bro? Could you imagine I take all my winnings off Hood and put it into Fartcoin? And then Fartcoin goes up and I'm like, all right, so forget this fixed income dividend stuff. I'm just going to take from one, go to the next DGen play and keep going. No, I'm not going to do that, dude. There's no way I would do that. But it's kind of wild to see that's happening. All right, so I just got a text back from the group chat after I said the deal is done. And my sister, who didn't know who Vlad was when I texted a picture of me and Vlad, who didn't know who Alex freaking Karp is when I texted a picture of me and Alex Karp to the group chat, says, "What deal are you talking about?" Of course, this is her response. It's not like she knew that for the majority of the year I was, holding on to this options play. It's not like I talked about it. It's not like I mentioned it to her multiple times. It's not, of course. What deal are you talking about? What are you talking about? What deal? What deal are you getting to? And she's genuinely confused. She's not asking it like in a funny way. She like literally put a question mark. She's like, what deal? What are you talking about? My sister is in her own world, bro. I love her. She is in her own world, though. It's so funny, dude. Like she has like she sees everything I'm doing in life, but then she has no idea what I'm doing. To be fair, I don't really know what's going on in her job either. And she has a bunch of different political stuff she's dealing with in her school as an administrator. But like, yeah, she has no clue, dude. She has no. I could send her a picture of me and Mark Zuckerberg one day. She'd be like, "Who's that?" I'd be like, "Really? You don't know who that guy? I get Alex Karp. I get Vlad. You don't know who Zucks is? I feel like that's gonna happen. I feel like that can happen one day. That is some sister shit. That is absolutely some sister shit. Amit, how much did you make on Hood? So I don't want to give the exact number just for my own protection of privacy of my net worth, but it's a multi-six-figure profit. It's more money that I've made in a day. It's not technically a day, but you guys get what I'm saying, than I've ever made in my entire life. It was well beyond the number I wanted in 2024. So at the beginning of 2024, I had a number in my head. I was like, if I get to this number, I can move out. I can start my own life. I can have a really good start to, my late 20s, and I can move forward with life. And it is beyond that number. So the job got done. We did what we had to do. Now the goal is to protect it. It was a hell of a ride, a hell of a journey. It was August 5th and October 31st when the position basically dumped 50% overnight. Those were some tough psychological days, but we're here. We're here, and now we just got to keep going forward. That's it. Is Palantir still down? Oh yeah, Palantir down. Palantir couldn't recover. Palantir down 1.5%. Palantir was up like 3%, then it was down 3%. Now it's down 1.5%. Where's Tesla? So SoFi's at 1455. Is Tessie still down? Tessie's still down 5%. All right, let's see what the suits are saying. What are the suits saying about all of this? Let's see how they're navigating this stuff when it comes to Tesla. I didn't think Tesla would get hit this badly, though. I mean, first of all, I really did not think that would happen. Here we go. Let's get some coverage on Tesla. I really didn't think they would miss on deliveries. I thought they would beat. All right, here we go. Let's see what some of the suits are saying about Tesla.
What Tesla's doing. And to your point, that
these EV companies globally, huge market, not a huge market, but
yeah. And as we pointed out a number of times, of course, 1 of every 2 vehicles sold in China itself is now an EV, which has implications far beyond just the EV makers, even for, as you might imagine, gasoline sales, which may have peaked in that country. Phil, thank you. Phil LeBeau.
You bet.
Tesla shares had a great year last year, of course, particularly towards the end of the year, up about 60%. Down, though, more than 20% from what was the post-election high. Our next guest has an outperform rating on the stock. Joining us now, William Blair analyst Jed Dorsheimer. Jed, good to have you. What do you make of the delivery and production numbers that we just got?
This guy's so shocked by the miss, he can't even speak.
Doesn't look like Jed's able to.
Valued on exactly what the numbers.
There's no particular significant part of Tesla's numbers. How big a disappointment from your perspective?
Well, if you look at it, the disappointment's really with the SX and Cybertruck. So that's a pretty big disappointment. It's a variance of 23%. If you look at the Model 3 and Y, that's basically flat. I do think that there's an issue in the higher end vehicles, which might speak to sort of consumer fatigue more than anything else. So that could be fixed with a hatchback or the Model 2. So that's how I would read the delivery numbers. Certainly a disappointment in terms of where they came in.
I mean, is your expectation that the fight for market share is going to become a lot more intense given the rise of the Chinese EV makers, in particular BYD?
Yeah, definitely in Europe. Europe is probably going to be your battleground between China and the U.S. I think from a U.S. perspective, we don't see that as much of a battleground area. And quite frankly, I think Elon's position with the Trump administration probably helps, from a market share in the U.S.
Yeah. Jed, while we were sort of trying to get you online here, we were talking a bit about energy storage as a component of the business overall. How important is that? Because it is growing very quickly for Tesla.
That is the win here today. If you look at the silver lining, energy storage coming in at 11 gigawatt hours, we were at 10.3. We were kind of the high on the street with respect to that. My position is I think the return on invested capital is the greatest in that business. And, quite frankly, I think the demand side for energy storage is much larger than what most people expect. It's not just wind and solar. It's actually to stabilize our grid. And if you look at the trends in AI, where you're going to see the greatest bottleneck is on the physical energy. And so I think that's the silver lining here.
Jed, in terms of the market's evident excitement about Elon Musk's closeness to the incoming administration and what that might mean for the business, can we get specific about it in terms of what types of regulatory relief? There's a lot of talk about how at the federal level, it's really nothing that's constraining things like full self-driving in a particular way. Waymo's doing what it's doing. So I wonder if you can see specific things you would expect to improve on the regulatory front that's going to come to bear at Tesla.
Well, I think when you look at, the timing and the growth, I think you need to separate both a play on XAI and sort of the ability to invest in that side of the business, which I think is just as important as kind of Elon's, position with Doge and what people might be reading into that. Hard to quantify. I mean, if you look at the last administration or the current administration, they were about as negative on Tesla as you could be. And so, I think the potential for relief around autonomy is certainly an area that seems to be a positive. Tough to quantify, how that will impact.
What about just the running and operation of Tesla? And then this comes up every so often just because he runs so many different companies. But now that we see that Doge and the administration is occupying a lot of his time, and we see him a lot at Mar-a-Lago, I mean, people buy the stock for Elon Musk. How much is Elon Musk involved in Tesla?
I think he's still very involved. I mean, I've known Elon for 15 years. I mean, we're not friends I've known and had several meetings with him. And I think what you do get with any of Elon's companies is a level of focus that is just, it's a different level than what you get with other companies. I mean, you have engineers that are going to have direct meetings with Elon where he is taking a first principles approach to everything that the companies are doing. And so far, he's been able to manage all of the balls that he has up in the air. So that could change at some point, but right now, his companies are, we used to say they're bringing a machine gun to a knife fight, and I think that is still holds true in terms of the competitive advantage.
Jed, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
As we head to a
All right, so the street kind of disappointed in these numbers. They don't love it. Tesla down 5.8%, 380. Yeah, I mean, look, it's red. SoFi as well can't really get the recovery back to 15. I don't know. I don't know, dude. I'm kind of confused where Tesla goes from here in the short term. Does it really make a little bit of a leg lower down into the 350s, 340s, or is this a place of resistance or support where we get eaten up? Uber right here up 4% because Tesla's down. Robinhood's still up about 4.3%. Nubank up 1.8% today, so Nubank getting some love. SoFi still down. Carvana, even with the short report from Hindenburg, market doesn't care. Carvana, best performing stock over the past 5 years since 2020. I mean, it's up a lot. So it's going to take a lot to get that one down, but Hindenburg is trying. NVIDIA right here up 2%, S&P 500 now up 1/3%. It was up 1%. Eric says Tesla has more than doubled since Cybertruck debut. Yeah, I mean, look, these numbers can't be the reason for a bear case on Tesla. Now, is the stock going to go down? Yeah, because the market expected one thing. We didn't get what we expected. These are irrational things that happen all the time. I mean, Tesla fell the day that Trump said he was taking away the EV tax credit. Like, it was down 7%, and then the market was up 20% over the next 2 weeks because no one cared, right? Like, these numbers are going to be irrelevant in the next few weeks. And I think that still these numbers are good enough to give them a strong Q4. But in the short term, yeah, the market's definitely not going to forgive them, at least yet, and look past it, given they're pretty short-sighted on the numbers. However, one thing about Tesla, none of the analysts can come out and get mad about this delivery number because all of them, and when I mean all of them, I mean basically 95% of them upgraded Tesla into the 450s and 500s. I think the lowest upgrade was like 420 that we got over the past month. So whether it's Stifel, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, all of them came out, Oppenheimer, and they said, we think Tesla's closer to 450. So if they get upset about delivery numbers and they kind of change their tune because deliveries were bad, that means they never gave a shit about the actual FSD, robotics, Optimus thesis that they laid out in December. That means they literally were just chasing price sentiment. And they used whatever justification they could use to say why Tesla should go higher. Because if you actually cared about that, you would, like, Deliveries is quite frankly irrelevant because you're looking at a deeper story. So I think the way the analysts react to this number is going to designate how many are actually bullish on Tesla, the story, versus Tesla, the quote unquote car company that analysts have interpreted the company to be for the past 10 years. And we're going to see if they can stick to their price targets, even if we have a not so good delivery number. I guess over the next few weeks, we'll get those updates. Or really over the next few days, we'll hear from analysts on Tesla. Yash says you can't speak out of both sides of the mouth. At first, it's all about FSD and Optimus. Second, it's 1 minute later, they barely miss deliveries and people lose sight of the future. Yeah, I agree. This can't be the reason why people think Tesla deserves to be down back into the low 300s. Which I don't think it gets to, dude. I don't know what Max Payne is on Tesla, though. I think Jason, when he was on Technical Tuesday a couple days ago, I think he said 340-ish was his number of where it could really get hit. But outside of that, I don't think it gets hit. I don't think it gets hit into the low 300s again. I mean, that would take off a sizable amount of the momentum that they had in 2024, or at least at the end of 2024. Some of you guys say 360. 360s, I guess, is max dip. I could see 360. I could see it. The market definitely gets a little scared. Enphase 71. Fubo's up 7%. Grab up 2% today. Not bad for Grab. I'm getting more bullish on Grab. I like Grab. I think it's a exciting story. I've been getting a lot of messages from you guys in Singapore, in Southeast Asia, and how you experience Grab. It'll be a slow one. It's not going to move quick with 4 billion shares, but and the strong dollar is definitely not going to help them. But with the stock trading at 33% cash, I do think there is some asymmetry here if they keep executing. MSTR is up 5%. MSTR is green. Apple is why is Apple down 2% too? It's like to start off the year, everyone decided to sell Apple, Palantir, and Tesla. Tesla had a reason. SoFi had a reason with the report. Palantir didn't really have a reason, even though it's down. It's more so taking profits. Apple, I feel like, is a classic example of profit taking right here, because there's no headline, I think, to get Apple down. Celsius right here up 4%, so Celsius getting some love. Small caps up 1%. They're outperforming the S&P and the Qs. Faraday Futures somehow still up 20%. GameStop down a little bit. Rumble up a little bit. Riot's up 2.4%. CleanSpark's up 1%. Mercado Libre's up 2%. Tesla right here 380 down 5.7%. The SoFi report was KBW saying they are downgrading them to $7 off of a extended valuation on different segments of the business. Essentially, they're valuing it as a bank price to tangible book versus looking at the SaaS part of the business, which I think can't be ignored. I think you can't ignore 10 million members. Look, I have my gripes with SoFi. I don't think they're anywhere near Robinhood in terms of innovation, user engagement, marketing. I think SoFi Plus, I'm actually kind of scared for SoFi Plus, guys. Anthony Noto says 2025 is going to be their big offering of a subscription service. First of all, and put in the chat if you're actually going to subscribe to this or what would make you subscribe. People are tired of subscription services. Like, you guys must be so annoyed every time you have to sign up to something new. However, if it's worthwhile, people will take out their credit cards. And Robinhood Gold is, already a very good subscription service, but even they have churn every quarter because people just cancel it because they don't feel like paying $5 a month. So I don't know what the hell, quite frankly, SoFi is going to do to convince people to pay $5 or $6 a month or whatever they're going to pay. Because I don't know what SoFi Plus is going to give you. It's not going to give you a stellar investing platform, because the investing platform is not stellar, in my opinion. What are they going to do? Give you discounted rates on your mortgages or your auto loans? They can't do that because there's regulations around how they quote you a rate. So there's no way they can say if you sign up for a subscription, maybe you get more priority on the wait list for applying for a loan. But I don't know. What are they going to give you? Right? Like, what is Anthony Noto going to sell as a $5 a month subscription? I don't know. Tanner says, bro, it's just for people that don't do direct opposite. Otherwise, it's free. Yeah, but Tanner, I'm talking about what is SoFi. Anthony Noto says, SoFi Plus is going to be something they're really excited for. He said that in a conference in November. My question is, what are they going to offer that's exciting? That's my bigger question. Like, if they're going the Costco model, what are they like? Robo-advising, maybe. But see, robo-advising requires people to be using the investment platform. Not a lot of people are using the investment platform. And we don't know how many people are using it because there's 10 million users, but they don't give us any details on the monthly actives, which is another thing I don't like about SoFi. It's like, how many people are actually using this SoFi? If you want to give us total user growth, you also got to tell us how many people are using. Don't hide that number. If you're going to be a consumer subscription tech play, you got to be a big boy like Robinhood that says, hey, we have 25 million people, but only 11 million people come per month. Okay. That's up to the street to then figure out if they like that ratio, but you can't hide that ratio. So my question is, what are they going to offer to get someone to pay $5 a month? And I am skeptical. Now, granted, does SoFi deserve to go back to 7? No, obviously that's stupid. I have SoFi options. Let me check those options, by the way. Are they down today? They have to be down today. I think SoFi can be $25 this year. I think they can do very well. The options are down 8%. So we're up 311% on them. We were up 450% last week, but so SoFi doesn't deserve to go to $7. It's not a bearish thesis, but in general, I am skeptical what the hell SoFi Plus is going to be. And I'm really skeptical if they don't give us the monthly user statistics, then how many people are going to convert to subscribe to it? Robinhood has 2.2 million out of 25 million people on their platform paying $5 a month. SoFi has less than half the amount of people on the platform alone, 10 million versus 25 million. So what does the conversion rate look like, right? You're going to have to do 20% to get to 2 million. And I don't know how easy that is to do. But we're going to see. And we're going to see if they have anything interesting that actually gets people excited about it. If they don't, then, that's not a part of the business I look forward to tracking this year. I think it's going to be loan originations in the tech platform. It's not, the subscription business is not going to be something that I'm excited about at that point. And again, I kind of don't think SoFi should be going down that route. I think SoFi should be going down lending and actual fintech, right? Actual deals on their B2B API. I don't think they should be doing this consumer play because I don't think they're the best consumer offering that's out there. But nonetheless, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe they get tons of people to subscribe. Maybe there's some features I'm not thinking about. And if they are, I'll be happy about it. It'll be good for the options. It'll be good for the stock. But we're going to have to see how that momentum continues going into this year. Right here is up 1.5%. Marathon's up 2.4%. HIMS is up 3.7%. Is Rocket Lab still down? RKLB is down 2.4%. RKLB is down 3.4%. Did you see the Hyundai light show subscription? Made me laugh. I didn't know that. Hyundai is giving a light show? Wow. I was just surprised my Tesla gave a light show. Wait, Hyundai's charging a subscription for a light show? That's ridiculous, bro. That's a Hyundai light show subscription. Tesla gave it to me for free, which was awesome because I was like, holy crap, dude. That was super dope. Shout out to Erin as well. She's here in the chat. McFlaren, she was on the New Year's Eve stream, and that was super fun. I actually have a clip of that I can share with you guys right here. So Erin's been watching the channel for a while. She said on the show that she found my channel and I kept yapping about Palantir, so she finally bought it. She's up 300% in her Roth IRA on Palantir. And here's what she had to say on New Year's Eve about Mr. Alex Karp. And what do you think about Alex Karp as the CEO?
Dude, I love his hair. He's such a vibe. He's so cool.
He is. He's a vibe. He's a freaking vibe. Like, you see him, his aura, his personality, the way he talks on these talk shows. He doesn't give a fuck what anyone thinks.
Yeah.
He's a vibe. It is what it is.
Yeah. And he's always just like so enthusiastic. It was like, how can you not get on board with him,
Yeah. Yeah.
Vibes.
Vibes, bro. It's vibes. I think Karp's going to see that video. I think Karp's going to see it. I have a good feeling Karp's going to see that video. And I think Karp's going to be happy. I think, Karp, look, there's a, in the cult of Palantir, there is a sausage fest that loves Karp and praises him to no end. I think Karp's going to be a little happy that there's a girl that is also excited about Palantir. I just just to be frank, I think Karp's going to be like, oh, nice, a girl, not just another one of the minions in the cult that praise me every day, but we're going to have a girl. So I think Karp's going to like that clip. Next time I see him, I'll ask if he's seen it. If he hasn't, I'm going to show it to him. So pretty cool stuff. But look, Karp's a vibe. Palantir's a vibe. I think that even though we're down 1.6%, guys, it's $74. I mean, we're holding freaking 74. We're holding 170 billion. All the bears are crying at night, and they can't believe that Palantir's at this valuation. Well, I think with Karp's book coming out, and I think with Q4 earnings that will crush outside of a potential EPS miss that I think is going to be a great dip opportunity if it happens. I think Palantir does very well. I really think that Palantir is becoming a story where They will always be expensive. The bears right now think it's the biggest bubble in the world. It has to go down 50%. Maybe. I really think Palantir is going to be the story where that doesn't happen. Palantir is going to be the story where it's going to be expensive. It's going to be annoyingly expensive. Eventually, I'll start have to buying in the 60s and 70s because I'm not going to wait for 30 or 40, right? I want more of this company. And so I don't know, dude, unless we get a massive macro headwind across the entire market, Palantir independently going down 50%, I don't see it. And I'll be dead wrong if it happens, but I don't think it's going to happen. And if it gets close, then I think the dip gets bought just because people are seeing the excitement with Palantir. And the UBS report video that I did last week, I think kind of confirms how much the street is getting on board with Palantir, even if they're upset about the valuation, which is essentially the point of that entire report. And as we get more $70, $80 price targets, this is going to be normalized, folks. It's going to be normalized. I know trading at 60 times price of sales is hard to normalize. I get it. But if there was any company that could normalize it, I feel like it's Palantir. And so it's going to be very exciting to see how they execute and how they can build momentum going into next year. Tess says, that's true, Amit. Why are you not showing Carp my tattoo? Tess, you got to send me a picture. I forgot you have the logo tattooed. We had this one guy as well. So send me a picture of that. I'm definitely going to, hopefully I can try to make sure Carp sees that you got a tattoo of the logo. There was this one guy who came on the New Year's Eve stream as well, who had like this iced out gold chain, diamond chain of the Palantir logo. It was really cool, dude. It looks really cool. I want to get one of those one day. Maybe not super iced out in diamonds and stuff, but like I would love to get the logo like that. I've been rocking the merch though. This is a one of one. Iliano got me. You can see this right here. I was wearing the merch at the gym yesterday as well. Doug was like, well, how dare you sweat in the merch? I was like, well, it is a sweatshirt. That's the point of it, right? So and the merch feels really good in the gym too, bro. It's like the perfect shirt to wear in the gym. My 3 goals this year: lose weight, move out, and then keep a daily focus on gratitude and humility at the center of everything I do. I know that's such a gay thing to say. As like keep a daily focus on gratitude, but it's true, dude. Like you got to be grateful and have humility at the center of everything you do. I think that's always got to be a goal for me, no matter what. But then I got to lose some weight and then I got to move out. So those are my 3 goals for 2025. Did you see what Jason tweeted about Carp? Yeah, I don't like Jason Calacanis, dude. I don't like this guy. I really don't like this guy. I'm not a fan. Jason finally found the clip of Carp spinning the book on his finger. The OGs know what clip I'm talking about. And he's trying to be cute about it. I don't like Jason Calacanis, dude. I'm not a fan of this guy. I'm just not. The guy is dogmatic beyond belief. He'll pick on you. If everyone knows his beef with Palmer Luckey, that already disqualifies Jason, in my opinion, from like being someone that's like interesting to listen to. So he said, okay, if Carp is going to pop us in and spin a laptop during a podcast, Palantir is easily worth 60 times sales. Again, look, I think Jason has ill-informed opinions and then he doubles down on them. The only reason he's going on this Palantir tirade is because David Sachs dunked on him publicly a couple weeks ago, saying that Palantir was a great investment when Jason laughed at him. And now he's so insecure. Instead of just being like, yeah, I was wrong, you were right, Palantir was a great investment, he has to like go on this tirade. He dedicated an entire episode of his podcast to Palantir's valuation. I'm like, dude, you don't even care that much about Palantir. Like the fact that you're going down this route to prove that it's expensive because you got dunked on publicly. I mean, like, I'd respect you more if you just take the dunk and move on. So it is what it is. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people like him, but Palantir continues to prove most people wrong when it comes to just how valuable and important they're going to be in the broader marketplace. Yeah, the Palmer Luckey, for those that haven't, if you YouTube Palmer Luckey Jason Calacanis and you watch the 10-minute showdown that Palmer Luckey does on Jason, I think it's worth watching. Because again, if you're in the media, like me, like I take this kind of personally, I'm in the media, right? I'm building a media career. Jason is much bigger than me in terms of media. He's been doing it for 30 years. When you attack someone with your media position, and he viciously attacked Palmer Luckey, co-founder of Anduril, for his political beliefs back in 2016 because he supported Trump. That is what led to him getting fired from Facebook. That's kind of how Palmer Luckey said it played out, because he was also the founder of Oculus. Then you're using your influence in Silicon Valley, which Jason's like a legend in Silicon Valley, to personally attack someone. And I could never imagine doing that, dude. I could never imagine taking whatever attention I have to like personally attack someone or like go in on their career and their life just for their political beliefs. Like, it's one thing to criticize a stock and criticize a CEO on their performance or earnings. It's another thing to ad hominem attack someone because they believe in a particular political ideology, which is what Jason did to Palmer Luckey. And to me, it's a form of narcissism because you're using your influence in the media to then weaponize it. And what different are you from mainstream media at that point? Like at that point, you just have an agenda that you're trying to use against someone. And so I don't know. I never liked it. I never liked the strategy, and I never want to do that strategy either in the future. When do you plan to buy Tesla? Guys, I'm not buying anything today. I'm not buying anything today. I don't know, dude. Today, I just like, you got to understand how I feel. I do not feel comfortable spending any money after making the most amount of money I've ever made in my life in one day. I kind of just want to let it chill for a second. So I'm not buying anything. Like the last thing I want to do just for my own mental health is be like, I got money, I'm spending it. It's like, no, dude. Like I don't know. Personally, that's how I feel. I don't want to do that. We would have to see some really, really ridiculous dips for that to happen. But obviously, Tesla does have me interested. Sofi does have me interested, but not just on the stock, also on the puts and selling the puts, because the put premium should be better. I mean, let's look at the 350 put right now. Let's see. I will say, though, throughout the course of this month, I am going to be looking at the market very closely, especially as Trump gets inaugurated, to see how the market interprets it. And then we're going to decide if it's time to start putting some money to use. Marika said you're a pussy. All right, fine. I guess so. The 350 put, wow, it's up 44% for Tesla January 31st. How much are they paying us? They're paying you $1,650. 1650 divided by 35,000. Wow, 4.5%. That's not bad. Not bad. 4.5%. All right, so the put premiums are up. Put premiums are up today. These are the days to sell puts, or these are at least the moments to get interested in puts as those put premiums are going higher. Thoughts on the Hindenburg Carvana report? So I'm going to read it on my own later, and then I'll give you thoughts on it. I don't want to read it live because there's probably a lot to go through. So I don't have any thoughts on the report, but all I know is that Hindenburg's either a hit or miss, bro. On freaking Roblox. Remember when I was in India and they went short Roblox? Roblox was down 5% for 2 minutes, then it rebounded. Square, they messed up on. The only one they got right was, what was the name? It was in the past week. What was the name? Or not in the past week, in the past 2 months. Someone has to remind me in the chat, but they got it dead right. I'm forgetting the name of it, though. But I know they got it right. Square and Carvana, they messed up on, though. Oh, SMCI. Yes, SMCI. Yeah, that one, they got it right. But sometimes they get too cocky, bro. Hindenburg gets too cocky. By the way, I talked to the co-founder of Hindenburg. I was on the phone with him a couple years ago because he needed a favor from me. Believe it or not, somehow I entered into his world and he needed a favor. But he's a good guy. He's not a bad person. Robin right here, 3870. It's just sometimes I feel like he's so aggressive with his short and like the thesis doesn't like cash. Like on Square, they were like rappers are talking about Cash App in the music videos, and they're selling illegal narcotics via Cash App. And I remember reading the report. I was like, are they serious right now? Like, because rappers are referencing Cash App in their lyrics. I think the Migos referenced Cash. Like, I was like, what? This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. So like that, they lost a lot of credibility to me that day. I was like, this is stupid. And this is the dumbest report I've read in my entire life. So it's a hit or miss. I don't know if Carvana is going to be a hit. Oh, Adani Group, as Tanner says right here. Yep, that was a good one. That was another one that they got. But SMCI was the big one that they got. Oh, and Nikola as well. They got Nikola. They got that one. Does that stock still trade, by the way? Is it still NKLA? Yeah, it still trades for $1.29. Huh, I didn't know that. That one still trades. All right, let's get some update on NVIDIA. So here's Gene Munster. Here's his thoughts on NVIDIA and why NVIDIA should continue to go higher in 2025. Let's get his update. And then we'll keep going from there. It amazes me how many words Mick can mispronounce. It truly is a skill. I don't know how it operates, but it truly is a skill.
What's ahead this year? We want to welcome Gene Munster, Deepwater Asset Management Managing Partner. And Gene, let's talk this through. Okay, so up incredible amounts for this year, biggest market cap out there. What is the anticipation for this coming year, for 2025? You think that this money is still going to be good? Is there still going to be the huge amount of demand? Can they continue to just rake in the cash that they've been able to do to this point?
I mean, specific to NVIDIA, yes, I think this is going to continue I think that the growth rates are going to remain higher for longer. Specifically, the focus is on calendar 26, what that growth is going to be. The street's expecting low 20% growth. I think it's going to exceed 30% growth. And so this still trades at a reasonable multiple, a 25x multiple, and kind of plays to what I think is going to be the chorus in 2025. Obviously, NVIDIA being at the center of the AI trade, I still think we have 2 solid years left of a strong tech trade here based on AI. And I just want to quickly fill in the point, Becky, that probably seems out of touch with reality, just given the 87%.
Folks, we just got a Robinhood upgrade. We got a big Robinhood upgrade, $54 by Piper Sandler, overweight. They are going to $54 overweight on Robinhood. We'll look at the upgrade in a second after we finish this, but they just got an upgrade here right now.
Move we've seen in the NASDAQ over the past couple of years. How is it possible that this can continue? And I come back to, for most people, the concept of AI is a buzzword. And I put in the context that if you look at ChatGPT, the daily users, it's only about 150 million. That compares to about 2.5 billion Google users. We're still early in this, and I think it's going to continue to pull the broader tech market and big tech higher in 25.
It does raise questions about what NVIDIA is going to do with all that cash that it's bringing in. What do you think the best answer would be?
I think probably return it to shareholders, share buybacks. I mentioned
Or
that valuation at
dividend?
25x. I think it's quite compelling. And so I think that that's probably the easiest way. They don't need to make any acquisitions at this point. So I think it's probably on the typical well-traveled path of share buybacks, dividends. We probably will see something along those lines we almost have to in calendar 25 for NVIDIA specifically.
Gene, I'm just looking through your disclosures. You don't own NVIDIA. Why not?
Personally, I don't own NVIDIA. Our firm does. Deepwater does own NVIDIA. And the reason why we own it is at the end of the day, I think that the obvious trade is still in play here. I think there's a lot of anticipation that this company's growth is going to slow dramatically. Some people even think it may even decline in calendar 26. But as I mentioned, I think that we're still early in the AI build-out phase. So that's why Deepwater owns it.
But
all right. So that's what we got on this. Do we have more left of this? Let me see.
you do personally own Apple and Tesla. Why not NVIDIA if you are if you have such conviction on it?
I think if I was going to kind of force rank those three, I don't do first from just the highest level. I have very few companies in my personal account.
This is a little interesting, dude. I mean, it's one thing to be super bullish on it, but to not own it, I don't know. It's one of those things a little bit awkward.
And so I don't think it's necessarily an indictment against NVIDIA.
Sure.
It's more just related to my conviction around Apple and Tesla.
I don't know if I buy that. I don't know. It kind of feels like Becky didn't tell him she was going to ask that question. He looked kind of caught off guard there. I mean, look, Gene's been pretty bullish NVIDIA for a long time. He owns Apple and Tesla. I don't know what the harm is in having a third name. It's not like he's only allowed to own like Dan Ives can't own names because he's like a analyst. Gene actually runs a fund like Gerber, so he's allowed to own names. So Dan doesn't own anything, which is actually a blessing because he never has to worry about it going up and down. He has to worry about it from a reputation perspective, but not really from his own personal net worth perspective. That is kind of weird. I'm not going to lie. Owning Apple, like why can't you own him? If your firm owns NVIDIA, why wouldn't you, right? Am I the only one that thinks it's kind of weird? I don't know. It's like a little weird. It feels like, I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. Look, his overarching thesis about NVIDIA, I think, does make sense. The AI CapEx build out is not slowing down. And I think the market, to be a contrarian on NVIDIA, you have to believe that the market believes it will slow down. And you have to believe, no, they're going to get to $5 of EPS because it's not going to slow down. Give it a 40 multiple. 5 times 40, last time I checked, quick maths, is $200. And so that is substantially above NVIDIA at 135. And, that's where you can get some momentum on the stock. But you have to believe CapEx is not slowing down. All right, so Robinhood reiterated at overweight at Piper Sandler, $54, citing stronger than expected December trading volumes. Before the open on Tuesday, Hood announced December to date trading volumes, which included Equities up 117%, options up 44%, crypto up 331%. The most surprising data point to us is the resilience in crypto volumes post-election. Crypto volumes declined just 20% from elevated November volumes and came in 2x higher than our previous estimate. What's more is that CFO Jason Warnick announced that in an industry conference earlier this month, Hood had continued taking price in crypto trading, going as high as 55 bips versus 42 bips, meaning their take rate on crypto is higher, which means even if they have less volumes, they have a higher take rate, which is good for their overall revenue numbers. Bottom line, we are raising our fourth quarter EPS estimate from 33 cents to 47 cents. Holy crap. This is good and it's bad. It's good because it means there's better expectations. It's bad because now Robinhood has to live up to even better expectations. We're increasing our 24, 25, 26 EPS estimates, maintaining price target and rating. We're increasing them from 89 cents to $1, $1.28 to $1.03, and 116 to 133. So they're expecting in 2026, Robinhood will be doing $1.33 a share of EPS. We are maintaining our price target of 54, which continues to represent 42 times our 2026 EPS estimate. We maintain our overweight rating. And it makes sense because Robinhood's going to grow at close to 80% in Q4. And the street will pay a premium for that growth, especially as rates come down. And Piper Sandler believes that could take it to $50. So there you go. Not bad for Hood. Palantir right here down 1.9. Mercado's up 2.9. Hoodie's up 4.2. Nubank's up 2.2. Uber's up 3, Bitcoin 96.5, Nvidia 137, S&P's up a little bit, and Tesla continues to be in the gutter today, down 5.7%. Any news on Meta? JP Morgan upgraded them to 750. They're up 2% right now, but outside of that upgrade, no other news on Meta. We do have the TikTok ban being announced in a couple weeks, potentially. Maybe Trump gets an extension of it, but that will have some implications on Meta. And we're going to have to see how that plays out. Constellation Energy Group is up 7%. All right, so energy is getting a little bit more of a bid. Yeah, that's up 7%. Next Decade is up a little bit as well. That's up 2%. So energy names. Is Kinder Morgan up? Kinder Morgan's up as well. Yeah, energy is getting a bid. Energy is getting a little bit of a bid. Schlumberger up. Schlumberger is up 2.8%. Wow, energy names are actually getting some love right here as Tesla and Apple are the ones declining. They're the only red Mag 7s. Apple now down 2%. Tesla right here down 5.7%. Oklo's up 1.48. Yep, there you go. Nuclear also being bucketed with the energy trade. What about Dutch Bros? Where's Dutch Bros? Yeah, that's up 6% as well. Don't know why Dutch Bros is up. Is Starbucks down? Starbucks is slightly up, but Dutch Bros right now up 6% right here. Maybe Dutch Bros got an upgrade. That's why they're up right here. Is gold up today? Oil was up, so that's probably helping some of these energy names. Gold is up 1.1% as well. So gold is up. Bitcoin, gold, and oil are all up. Bitcoin is going to be a big question as well, right? I mean, Mag 7, amazing, right? They've done well. Gold did well last year. Bitcoin did well last year. Oh, here's a chart on Bitcoin's historical performance from 2024 now. I think people are going to be wondering 2025, can Bitcoin do it again? Can they keep elevating? By the way, Warren Buffett beat the S&P 500 for the 30th time in his career, 27% versus 24% in 2024. So Bitcoin, as you can see right here, since 2010 to 2024, best performing asset of all time. In 2014, it went down 58%. 2018, it went down 73%. 2022, it went down 65%. 2023, it was up 156%. 2024, up 121%. So the question will be, can Bitcoin replicate it in 2025, or are we going to head for a red year? Only 3 red years after in its 14-year existence is pretty wild. Like 11 out of the 14 years have been green, which is pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. I mean, what do you see coming out of CES, not just for NVIDIA? You know, I don't know. I've never paid that much attention to CES. I know it's important. I think the NVIDIA stuff is going to be interesting. AMD might put out some more consumer products with upgraded AI PCs. I think robotics is the most stuff I'm excited for. So hopefully we get some robotic startups that are just like showing off new technology as the physical embodiment of AI becomes more important. I don't think we're going to get any crazy names like Tesla there. I don't think Palantir is going to be there. They were there a couple years ago. Yeah, I don't know. NVIDIA is going to be the most important one. NVIDIA is going to be the one that we have to look at here. I don't think there's anything from Tesla at CES. Not from my understanding. Bitcoin, 96,400 Robinhood just chilling right there below 39. Robinhood deserves to be like $45 right now. I mean, like it's being held down for Bitcoin, for market volatility. But if Q4 crushes and the macro holds up, I think we are much higher than 30 bucks. Like I think we're out of the 30s for a while. The problem is if the market takes a 10% correction, Robinhood gets hit, right? Because Hood's trading volumes are going to go down. So it's the one reason I'm not being super excited to jump into Hood right here. It's just we got to wait until we get some of this volatility out of the way. But if we get it in the low 30s, I mean, that would just be an incredible offer. And I don't think we're going to easily get into the low 30s, but if it happens, I will be buying that dip. Yeah, Meta's up 2%. Michael Saylor did have a New Year's Eve party. Bitcoin, they called it the Bitcoin 100K party, but Bitcoin was not 100K. But still, there were a bunch of pictures of Saylor with a ton of different people. 38 is key level, still the IPO price. Yeah, that's true. I forgot. 38 is the IPO price. So it is a key level for Hood to hold. Nubank doing great today, up 2.2%. Is the dollar down at all? You know, it's going to be funny if the dollar starts going down and Nubank, Grab, Mercado Libre start going up. Wow, no, the dollar is making a new high. Holy crap. I feel like that would be funny if the dollar comes down and all those other international stocks just naturally go up. The dollar's at 109, folks. This thing is not coming down. In the past 6 months, it's up 4%. Back in 2023, it was at 101. Back in 2021, we were at 95. So we don't need to go below 100, but getting close to 100 wouldn't be the worst thing. Dollar's green. Where's the 10-year? 10-year slightly down. Still elevated at 4.5, but slightly down. All right, we got Ed Yardeni on CNBC as well. Let's get his thoughts on where the market's going, and then I think we can end it out for today. But let's get his thesis to 2025.
No.
What about you, Becky?
Joining us now, Ed Yardeni. I don't hide anything. Ed Yardeni, I'm right? It's the desserts. It's the
absolutely.
Right.
It's the dessert. It's the entree. It's the salad. It's more than the other strategists. And as a result, I'm looking for the S&P 500 to go up along with earnings rather than valuation.
Okay.
And I think it can get to 7,000 by the end of the year. But it's not going to be a straight line. And I would think that in the next few weeks, things are going to be somewhat bumpy.
You like the economy because it's been going well? Do you like anything Trump's supposedly going to do? Are you worried about anything Trump's going to do?
Well, maybe I've been sticking with a bullish view for a while. You know, for the past 3 years, we've had the most widely anticipated recession of all times that didn't happen. And it made sense to a lot of people that if interest rates are going to go up, you get a recession. We argued that that wouldn't be the case. So the economy has proven to be remarkably resilient. And now the Fed's not raising interest rates. They're talking about how much they're going to lower interest rates. And the consumers are in great shape. I'm still working for a living, but a lot of my baby boom friends are retiring, and they're sitting on like $75 trillion of net worth is what the baby boomers have. So they're going to have a negative savings rate, and they're going to spend it no matter what. Actually, they love higher interest rates because they get better returns on their liquid assets.
AI factors into everything you're saying, I guess, too, right?
Well, I've been talking about the roaring 2020 since 2019. And of course, I didn't know that AI was going to be the kind of hit that it's been so far. But AI does factor in, as does robotics, automation. And the whole idea is that, like the 1920s, we're seeing a productivity-led economic boom that increases standards of living.
Inflation? Slowing economy? Neither?
Well, you know,
what is this, Goldilocks? Everything's just right?
Well, Goldilocks has kind of been there, done it. So I prefer roaring 2020s. And the idea is productivity. And productivity is like fairy dust. It makes everything better. You get better than expected growth.
Where's it coming from, Ed?
The productivity is, I think, a couple of things. One is there's a shortage of skilled labor. And there's no shortage of new technologies, software, hardware that can augment the productivity of workers. And I think we're already seeing that. I mean, it's really not a forecast so much as just an extrapolation of what's been going on. Since 2015, productivity growth has increased from 0.5% at an annual rate to 2%. So it's quadrupled already. but 2% is kind of the historical average. We've been kind of doing lower than that. And I think we're going to do 3% over the next couple of years.
Why do you think we're going to have issues in the first few weeks of the year?
Well, I think we always focus on the macro, on monetary and fiscal policies. And with monetary policy, you kind of need a neck brace to deal with what they're signaling us. Maybe they should just stop talking and just do what you're going to do and leave it at that. But right now they've kind of semi-pivoted from very dovish, we're going to lower interest rates several times, to, well, maybe we need a pause here. So I think there's a pause in monetary policy. So we're not going to feed the market more rate cuts right away. And then, of course, fiscal policy is very confusing. We've got issues of immigration, deportation. We've got issues of tariffs, which could be inflationary, could hurt the economy. And whenever I talk about the roaring 2020s, people remind me, yeah, but the 1920s ended really badly. And we're about to see what impact tariffs are going to have in the economy. So I'm not dismissing the possibility that things could go wrong. But I don't think this is going to be like the end of the 1920s. I think we'll get through this tariff mess in some form. But I think it's going to take a few weeks here, maybe several months, to get a clear view of fiscal policy. And we also have to get a clear view of, whether this thin margin that the administration has in Congress is going to be enough to get their policies through.
So, look, I think that's fair. I think that's pretty much what he's been re-articulating for a long time. But the biggest reason I am bullish for the roaring 20s is because of the technology that we're seeing. So you got interest rates, you got inflation, you got all that stuff, but the technology innovation with FSD, robotics, eVTOLs, AI, everything, like, it's just hard to be bearish against all that tech. And that's kind of my argument for why I think this decade still turns out to be one of the better decades for the market in terms of returns, but also in terms of transformational tech. All right, guys, that's it for us today. Real quick, this is the NYC meetup forum, January 18th. We are going to be doing a meetup in New York City. In February, we will be going to Palo Alto, California. But we're going to do one state every single month. And I am very excited to meet you guys, see you guys in person. New York City, this is the meetup forum. We'll put your number in a Telegram group and send you guys details. Most likely it'll be outside, I think in Bryant Park, might be another place. Hopefully it's not too cold. It's actually been really warm on the East Coast the past couple of days. I hope that continues. It's been like 60 degrees, which is amazing. So hopefully that continues and it's not too bad in New York in the next few weeks. But yeah, we'll have more details as we get closer to it. But for those that are local to New York and want to come through, January 18th, probably around 12 p.m. is going to be when we do this meetup. And we'll be there the whole day. Whoever wants to show up can show up. Word of the day is preponderate.
Preponderate.
To exceed in weight, influence, important amount, etc. Arguments for postponement preponderated at the board meeting. Drought-resistant plants preponderate in this desert region. So to exceed in weight, I would say I am preponderant in terms of my weight, my pounds, and it's time to lose a good 20 pounds this year. So yeah, that is one of my goals this year, to not be as preponderant when it comes to my physical weight. All right, that's it. That is it. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'll be back on the market close, 3:45 today. We are going to get money market inflows and outflows data today on Thursday. Next week, earnings does start. Not that many earnings, but we do have some major companies. And then the week after that, we're really getting into financials. So in about 2 weeks, we have earnings season begin again. Next week, we do have some of those earnings start. And for today, I'll be back on the market close. And that's it for today. Why are the streams so short? Okay, the streams are not short. We went 2 hours and 23 minutes. Like that's it's not a short stream. I know we did 3 hours the past couple of days, but still, it's a pretty decent stream. So hopefully you guys enjoy. No, I did not find a wife. I did not find a girl. That's not why the streams are short. Goodness gracious. Not even 3 hours anymore. Yo, shout out to Michelle. Michelle was awesome as well. For those that joined on the New Year's Eve New Year's Eve stream, it was so awesome. Michelle is getting married to a guy that she found in my chat. And it's really nice to be Cupid, because how many people get to matchmake, and give people the gift of love, So it was really exciting to talk to her and her fiance, Ray, on the stream. Michelle was definitely drunk along with Ray. But it was super cool. It was super fun, dude. It was super fun. We got to do it more often. We got to do more of those like just chill streams without the alcohol. Again, I'm not drinking that today, guys. I'm not gonna. Although I want to drink it, especially because the profits have been taken, I can't drink it, dude. We drank on New Year's Eve, and like I'm still kind of recovering from it. I know you guys are gonna call me a lightweight, but it's been 2 days, and I just can't imagine drinking again in the same week. I can't do it. I literally can't imagine drinking again. Like the feeling I had on New Year's Eve, I was just like, I was sauced, bro. I can't do this. I can't do this twice a week. So we're not going to open this today. We'll open it eventually, but we'll have more of those streams where we just chill, talk about anything, give the link to you guys. You guys can join and, we can talk. So we'll do more of those, hopefully once every month, every other month, something like that. And yeah, it'll be fun. So shout out to everyone who joined and Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's a that is a point. It is a collectible. It's an alternative asset. If Robinhood becomes a $1 trillion company one day, this has got to be worth a lot of money, right? Like it's their whiskey from their first gold event ever. Even if Robinhood becomes a $250 billion company, it could be a collectible one. Yeah, maybe. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the market close, and we'll keep going from there. Ray says, IDK, what she's talking about, I met her in the chat like a year ago. Yeah, you met in my chat. You guys didn't meet in high school in 2008. You guys met in my chat. It was my chat that made it happen. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you guys on the market close. Bye, everyone.